G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today and this morning by Algared. How you doing, mate? And somehow you're muted. That's two audio problems in a mere matter of seconds, Algared. Are you having old man problems this morning? And you know why I'm talking. There we go. There we go. Yeah. What were you up last night doing? What could possibly make everything go wrong? See, I told you I'd use a demo. Anyway.
Out for dinner. That's where
I was going to use any of it, but you went muted. I had no choice. I just glass ran at straws. Anyway. Right. Okay. I'll have to get the bot up. Give me a memento. But I'll do that. How was your week anyway?
It was a school week, so it was busy.
Here the kids just went back this week. Is that what it was the same for you? Was that a couple of weeks out of whack, am I?
A couple of weeks. The government schools and a lot of people went back 2 weeks ago. We went back last week. So yeah.
Alright, the bot is running. Nice to see everyone. First time chatter. Sean Solo, Captain Sean Solo. No, I know Sean Solo. I know that name, but how are your first time chatter? How are your first time chatter? You've never been here before, Sean? Really?
I'm pretty certain he has.
I've seen him in other chats. Anyway, that's weird.
Maybe we're just old and just,
No. Sean Solo. I know that name. I've seen him in other chat rooms. So yeah, weird. Anyway.
Yep, so do I.
Good to see everyone.
Anyway, a pleasure to have you, Sean.
Yeah,
on
pleasure.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Maybe it was one of our YouTube guys. And
I was on Grim stream again this week. Thank you for this. You don't need to subscribe, Sean, but thank you all the same.
I appreciate it.
Apparently there's Twitch subs at the moment. If you sub, you get a the Banny Cube, and if you watch us for 4 hours, which you won't be able to do because we only stream for 3, you get the ATLS skin. And if you get a referral for the Foundation Festival and you're the veteran person, you get you actually get an ATLS.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
I thought, wow,
that'd be cool.
Nice if you...
I very rarely get referrals. Love one, thanks.
I haven't got any.
Yeah, but how could you get every shipping game? You don't need any. You don't need any. What do you possibly want off the referral list? I'm really the Raptor probably. No one knew.
The Raptor. Yeah. The ATLS would be nice.
You've already got 2 sites, so you don't need one of those.
Hey, if I get a third one, I might be able to give it away.
I doubt it. Because
that's why I locked the account.
Yeah, probably. 3. This guy's stealing shit. That's what they'll think. Anyway.
Yep, indeed.
So yeah, I went through a lot of this stuff already with Grim a couple of days ago, but and he'll be streaming later. You told me he'll be streaming today as well, so we'll probably see if we can raid into him as we're wrapping up. But yeah, we'll be going through all that again. But did you see what I titled the show, by the way?
I did notice it.
Did you guess what it was in reference to? Yeah, the shit show. Welcome to the shit show. This is what Google gave me for a shit show space theme. So I said, give me a shit show that is space themed. Gave me this. All the planets exploding.
Well, given that we've always said we like talking ship, it's a kind of a nice juxtaposition of what we usually...
I could have called it the ship show. Welcome to the ship show, right? Maybe that's next week's. We'll see. Right. So yeah, not a single question's come in. So this is going to be a very, very short stream. But we'll go through the news for the week, of which there is not a hell of a lot. Let's head over to the browser. Oh, look, here's my camera. It has rotated. Problem solved. Right. So all the usual pins and shit back, which is obviously the what do you call it, chrome and teal. And you'll be able to go through the referral program as per usual. This is what I was talking about, is in the referral bonus. New recruits get a fully armed set and a tractor gun, and you get an ATLS.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a few new skins out as well.
Yep.
It's
And
interesting.
those skins are also attached to the starter packs as well. So
Yeah, I honestly
um,
thought they would have been more earnable in game type. That's a bit more monetized than usual.
look,
Hmm.
I don't think so, because whenever I do Foundation Festival or something like that, you usually find the starter pack has a skin chucked in plus a discount.
Yeah,
So
as long as there's a way you could also earn it in game. I just think during Foundation Festival
yeah.
that's a good especially for new people. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
do you want to really sting them as they walk in the
Oh,
door? Like that's
well, realistically, I don't think those starter packs are stinging them because they're actually discounted, and you're
yes.
getting the skin. So for someone walking through the door, it's actually a good a good deal. The 16 highlighted ships,
Oof.
the fact that the first one off the rack was a 600i made me go, man, that's a pretty
What
crap ship for the inside.
what kind of drugs are you on? A razor? Seriously? Like, come on! Like, really?
Yep.
Um,
These
uh,
are just the highlighted ships. I don't get it either.
they are around 150. Like, that's probably where you want to add for starter people. Like the ship above, encourage them to go
Yep.
up. But like a Starfarer is a bit big. Why wasn't that a Starlight? Like, seriously,
Because the Starlight is in the starter packs
it is really.
as the minor. Yeah.
No.
If I saw correctly.
No. That's the
Oh,
Golem.
no, it's not. Oh, that's sorry. The Starlight is that
Yeah,
new refueler.
that's my point. Valkyrie, like
Sorry, I was getting it
I
mixed
think
up
I
with the
think that
Salvation,
I think that and the
But yeah.
Rays are the only two that I think were a bit sloppy in this case.
The Origin. The Origin 600i. It's the first ship on the
Uh,
rank in the list. Come on.
okay. Would you got on? Well, you're not really going to go the 100 series or the 300 series, so I probably would have gone
I
400i
put the 400 in
maybe.
there.
But
And
still,
well, I'd have done the 400i over that just because the interior of the 600i is a mess. We know it's slated for a rework because it's a mess. And the 400i is the most complete version that's up to date. So if you're bringing new people in and you want to sell them a luxury ship, sell them the one that looks good, sell them the one that's functioning right.
yeah. Again, like I'm looking at this as in a new player lens, and
Yep.
yeah, no, that's not what you want to do when you first come in. And go here, give me $500 stupidly, and it just you want to
Yep.
get them in, and then maybe the next sale, get them to upgrade their ship. You just got to get them in the door, not like oh here, give me money. You know that's what it feels like. It feels like there's a beggar at the
Oh,
door going, give me money.
I get that idea as well, but if I'm right, the 400i is less than a 600, right? So if you put 400i in there, you're reducing that give me money up feel. 600i, as we all know, it's broken on the inside. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't have half its gameplay. Yes, it looks good, but so what? We know it's so bad they're going to rework it. Put the 400 in, which is a good looking ship.
And I think, like you and me also said, that it's probably going to take a while for them to rework. And
Yeah.
The realistic one is what we said about commercial ships. Like when you look at where Origin sat on that graph, they show back when the Sulian comes out. That shows you how far back we're going. They basically half of Origin was commercial. Well, we haven't seen a single commercial ship from Origin.
Yeah.
So when you kind of lay that out, it's not until we start seeing commercial ships. And I was hoping that was sooner rather than later. And now we've seen we've seen the Matey come along. Like obviously they've done that to get a few new people to start working on the Origin style. So I'm a little bit like this for maybe a little bit after crafting. Like I'd have to think. Sorry, not crafting. I'd have to think after base building comes in. Top tech is a part of base building, so I'd have to, because it's a part of the room system.
Yep.
I'd have to assume because it opens a lot by doing shops because you can open like at least 5, if not 10 or more ships locked behind there that they could do, and one of them was the Banner Merchantman that they had kind of planned to work on. So you do the math, and you've got the Kraken privateer sitting there. right? So this time next year, that'll be out as well. So you got to imagine they're things that they want to kind of not hold behind a gate and kind of want to release. So that would then also open them up to doing an Origin 1 or 2 or whatever. Yeah.
But the inclusion of 600i here just really does befuddle the brain. A couple of Warbond upgrades you can do as well. The Cutlass Black that gets your standard $10 discount, and the Prospector I think does.
Yeah, they're not terrible. They're actually decent.
No.
You know,
they're decent, but they're not.
I probably would have added a lot of the medium ones. This is where I would have gone. I would have put more in here and less in here. So take your starter ship and go from like, you know, your starter, advanced starter, and go into a medium. So a Cutlass, a C1, and a Zeus. You know, the ones in there. That's where I would have been encouraging people to go, not.
Indeed, and
Crazy Town.
And the Cutlass is a good upgrade. Like from a starter ship, there it is probably still one of the better, you know, all generalisty type ships to move into combat transport.
Ocean 911 put a question in that question, and we'll get to it as we come through, mate. That's how it works here, bro. If you read the Nightbot, any form of word question in what you type, we'll get it sucked through to us, and it performs into a list, and we just go straight through the list once we get through talking. It allows us to let the questions build up a little bit, but it also allows us to go through and do the questions in more detail, not just read them out frantically like a crazy madman.
We hated that idea of doing like that on the screen, because you're trying to read all the questions and scroll back and so
it's very frantic when the bot is down, isn't it?
We don't function without the bot, I don't think. We struggle real big time. But as you said, the bot gives us that ability to just take the questions, run with them, go down the rabbit holes that might come up from chat as we're talking about it. So yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go through some leaky stuff now. If you don't want to see, look away. So these were found in the files. Excuse me, I didn't get my finger up to the mute button. So this is obviously a skinned super heavy armor. And this is wrong one. This one is an Asgard skin. It kind of looks like Foundation Festival, but instead of the teal, it's got a black on it. For those of you that are just listening. And obviously the super heavy armor. Now, this has the potential to be the most expensive monthly bundle we've ever seen, due to the size of the ship. Just think about it. We normally I think one of the other months was a Fury, right? Or a Cutlass or something like that. Right? They're not usually bigger ships. So an Asgard is pretty large, so that puts the price up. But then also you've got an entire set of super heavy armor with a massive gun and a massive backpack. Some of the bundles don't come with backpacks, right? So this is probably it's got the most expensive items. It's got the biggest set of armor. It's got every single piece you could possibly have. So if this is not the most expensive one we've ever seen, I'll be really, really surprised. And it kind of is good and bad. And I guess the way I put that is, why did it green screen was not all the way down. Why did they put it all in the most expensive thing? Right? It's because they know every motherfucker's going to buy this. That's why. You know what I mean?
And that's popular.
You are now seeing what I was worried about with bundling. It is now met its extremist form of where I was saying it was going to go. So they've put a very expensive skin in, so you buy the expensive skin just so you can get the super heavy armor. Right? This is the inverse of what I talked about before, where normally you want the ship skin. I will agree. You'll agree, Algared, there are people out there that are going to want that Asgard skin, yeah?
Oh, yeah, there are people who want the Asgard skin.
Yeah.
I hope, and look, I look at that, I think, oh yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but I'm not a skin person, so I don't really care.
Yeah. But
Um,
there are also people that buy these bundles so they don't have to go grind for access to things.
Yep.
Right? And I think that's why they've done this. They've put a very expensive skin with this bundle because they know how many people are going to buy that bundle. And just take note, 3 of the other bundles have been exactly $30, which was the most expensive bundle so far. And I'm willing to bet money this ain't going to be $30.
I'm hoping that regardless of what the bundle is, you can actually buy the skin, the skin separately,
Yeah.
the armor and the gun separately.
Well, when I was on with Grim, we looked up the prices of the skin. The most expensive Asgard skin has been $16. So that's already half of the 30, sorry. And then the a lot of the armors, when you buy armors in game, they're like $20. Yep. So you do the math. We're already at $36 type of thing already, and then it's got a huge ass gun, and it's also a massive piece of armor, right? Yep. So you add it all together, I can realistically see this being $40, and I'm not even joking when I say that. How does that now you've seen the bundle stuff in action? I know you got what I've been talking about. I've been painting this on the wall for years, right? You know what I said it was going. Can you start to, I put this out to chat. Can you? I know you did, right? I'm not calling you stupid, but it's not the best taste, no, in the mouth right now.
No, probably not. What I do know, as I'm looking at that sneak of the heavy armor and the gun, it reminds me of Josh Coombs' draft of what Titan armor would be. With it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because this is where my brain went one step further when I saw it. So I'm sure you'll get here as well. But you know how Bops is always talking about ships that bridge the gap between the size classes.
Yep.
Is that not in fact what that is? It's the gap between heavy armor and a Titan suit.
Yep.
And if you've seen any, I was watching Astro and Loken yesterday, and Loken's like running around. It looks amazing. It really does. I can see how well it's going to work with the squad because Paul had to run behind him, heal at him, and to put the ammo cartridges in the back and stuff like that. And it was like watching some walk around a big chain gun. He's cool, right? But it was far cooler to see what Paul was doing, like putting the ammo clips in and stuff like that. Yep. So it is a support weapon. You need another person behind you, type of thing.
It's a heavy weapon support team, and that's why I think what Paul was doing also shows why this suit has to have, or why that gun has to have that great big backpack on the back. It's so you can actually keep it loaded. But it does. But what I do like about that is the fact that it does harken to what we're going to be doing in capital ships, or ships like the Perseus, where you've got that changeable ammo. You're going to need someone loading those ammo racks.
Well, I even go one step further as well, is what happened in Squadron if they actually got rid of Titan suits and this is what it turned into? Is this why we've never seen... Well, I know we got the ATLS, right?
Yep.
But you see where I'm going, right? Now, it's like, did they actually make the Titan suit boss that we heard about all that time? The Zeus suit that we've heard about? Or is this another enemy out of Squadron? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that come to my mind. I guess time will tell, huh?
Yep, indeed.
All right.
I can't deny that does look cool, and even I, non-FPS aficionado, likes the idea of having a heavy weapon support team. And you can see the need, as you said, to have someone running behind doing the ammo, doing the healing.
Well, the question that came out for me and that really made Grim start to look at it differently, as I said, now go back and look at things like the Valkyrie versus the Asgard. Because you've got those 20 large, heavy armored seats on it, and we know that if this is super heavy armor, right? And they were talking about you can't even wear heavy armor in certain seats, and the Asgard's only got, I think it's 2 or 3 seats. and the Valkyrie's got 20, you start to go, holy shit, right? Ships like the
Yeah.
Valkyrie
Oh,
are going to come back in a big way when shit like this starts dropping.
it's the same like a Spartan.
Yeah.
The troop carrier on the vehicle.
Mm.
It was the first. It was the first
Yes,
vehicle where
exactly.
the seats were specifically designed for heavy armor.
But the point does stand, yeah, right?
And it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the other thing he even suggested is, what if it's so big, it's bigger than heavy armor, and you've actually got to lock it to the cargo grid? And then I went, oh,
Yep.
Titan suits and all that, and you started to very quickly look at, and he was having this. You could see as we were talking, he was having the epiphany of the Valkyrie in his head as he worked it through. So this is going to be this. Not the start, but you know how I've talked about actual armor on the outside of ships changing how ships will do. I'm starting to realize there's going to be all these steps all the way along where something comes out and a series of ships just break away and turn into something that we hadn't rethought of in a while. You know what I mean? You know, like e-warfare, you know, boom, and all these e-warfare ships crack up. You know, heavy army only, because that'll happen with the vehicles too. Like you put it out with the Spartan, and I think the only other one I can think of is the Grey Cat one with the 2 heavy armor lockers and stuff.
Yep.
You see where I'm going, right? There's going to start to be all these new ships that kind of come out, and whatever that gameplay thing was, that patch, they'll probably highlight. So yeah, I can see that having a lot going forward.
Siege of Origin, where you've got that suit coming in. Now,
yeah,
I can also see if we've got access to this suit and this equipment, my DM type census plug in.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, I used to tell my players, if you can do, my NPCs are going to do back. So you want to bend the rules so you can do this. You're going to be getting characters that bend the rules to do the same thing to you. And sometimes they go, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, again, I actually kind of like this suit because, again, you know how you and I always talk about gameplay. There's this emergent gameplay because if you use all your ammo, you are screwed. You need someone behind you supporting you. So you're only good as your team. And this forces teamwork. And you know what the stuff you and I have seen in the past, like where we talk about the hurricane and stuff like that, those forced teamwork periods in the game right now, when there is no real reason to change, forcing a change can be really strong.
And you know, you've got those clearance missions where you're doing the strike missions where you're going through the interiors. Having something in a heavy armor, able to mow down the enemy, clear the way really quickly, is a bonus. But you've got to have your support team backing you up, healing you, chucking the ammo in. And then what happens when your armor gets blown up, you know, gets more completely wrecked? You know, do you have a second suit that's being used? I could also see these being things that you use in your suit lockers as well, rather than.
Well,
so yeah,
a lot of Siege of Origin has been streamed this week. A lot of streamers like to wait till things hit live because of bugs and stuff like that. But because the Foundation Festival is with all the subs and the referral rewards and stuff like that, a lot of them are showing off Siege of Origin because they want to cater to as many people as possible, because there's not a lot going on in the actual game right now. Like all you've got is looking at new people play the game, or other new people is not that interesting. So, you know, I watched a lot of people yesterday and the day before going through Siege, but I've also played it myself. But it is interesting to see other people come up against it and they're enjoying it, which is really good. I was a bit worried about the reintroduction of something that we'd already seen before, but it has changed quite a bit and it's a lot better. And it shows the maturing of the missions team is how I'd probably put. You know, they're getting a lot better at doing stuff, but you can also see they've had a lot more help. Like there's a lot more effects in there, way the AI and all that type of stuff, like right through it.
And I'm not sure whether this would be a fact, but the fact that I'm guessing the fact that they've made them instance opens the door to be able to put more stuff in without causing lag and all the other stuff, doesn't it?
Yes, that's basically it. You can kind of, but also remember how it kind of had to go. A group had to go all the way through, and it took like a couple of hours to go through, and then another group would come behind them. So either it was respawning too frequently or not, or too. It removes all that. So if you die, you can literally run right back through, almost up to where your body was and stuff like that, because you're in your own instance. So it's better for the people playing, and it's better for people that rock up behind them and stuff like that, basically. I think you need both, to be honest. I can see a need for instancing, but I can also see people's fear in them just turning it into instance places rather than this gigantic open world MMO that we'd kind of been promised. So I can see it going both ways.
The instance that every day you could go and do that same thing, it kind of gets a bit dry.
I think the real question is, they appear to have done Siege of Origin instead of or Origin, whatever you want to call it, instead of doing because if you think back to when it was shown, we were meant to be getting these sewers of Hardcore. What the hell are they? I would much. This is gonna sound weird, but I'd much rather be down in the sewers than out in the clouds. But
because you're trash. Oh, damn.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I feel personally attacked. No, but you know, you could add the Valor card down there.
Oh no,
Doom and Gloomy. Absolutely. That's more what I meant.
No, it'd be a different different scenario, different thing. You want something like that for every location. You want Siege of Orison. You want your rebels in Hurston. You want your sewer, whatever it is, in ArcCorp. You want whatever it is in Microtech. You want all of those.
Oh, we lost him.
You want all of those key landing zones to have that type of instance thing. Even if you've got an instance event in Levski, where you're going down into the bowels of the base to do repairs, and you're fighting the Valakars and whatever else is down there. You want to make those landing zones and key zone places have stuff for people to do, and Siege of Orison is one of those.
I think the only thing I'll add is there better be a trash compactor down there somewhere.
They've got to have a trash compactor.
Yeah. Rainstone, thank you for the gifted sub to Barmy Lad. He's definitely British. Make sure, Barmy, you say thanks to Rainstone for your sub.
Is Barmy Lad part of the Barmy army?
Ooh,
just ask him.
He might be a Barmy dropout.
That could be.
Maybe he didn't make the cut. You know, maybe that's why he's here.
Yeah, well, you know, if they were part of a Barmy army and they found Star Citizen, Star Citizen would have started to suck their time, so they wouldn't have been able to. I don't know. Who knows?
This also dropped yesterday. This is the new load screen for 410, whatever number we're up to. I've lost count. Many this year.
Yep.
I didn't really. Maybe I'm blind. I thought you might want to have a quick look over it. I know you haven't had a chance. But yeah, look, I'll send it through to you so you can read it more closely yourself. Hold on. Hey. Should be coming through to you. No, it's too big. Wow. It defeated me. All right, can you see that? Let me know if it loads for you.
You've got on the screen?
No. It should have gone through to a DM for you. You want to see it more closely? I don't know if it will work for you or not. Maybe it won't. But yeah, I couldn't see anything in it that really pointed to anything groundbreaking. Because realistically, the previous load screen would have been for this patch, but because of how they've spun it off into another patch, you kind of see where I'm at. Wait, that's Essay. Oh, he is alive. He didn't die. Wow. Doesn't reply to messages, but he comes into live streams. You asshole. You better be around after stream. Anyway. Reply to my messages, bitch. Thought you were dead. Anyway. Greatly exaggerated. But Anyway, anything you see there or
I,
not?
yeah, well, I think the mandatory aid clause rejected by the Xi'an negotiators
Hmm.
does pick up the idea. There was talk about we should try and push for the Xi'an to join us if we're attack type thing.
Hmm.
And that seems to say the Xi'an have said, no, this is a trade treaty, not a mutually defense treaty.
Yep.
And so that kind of is going to feed into, I think, the negativity that we get from the anti-alien factions. I just tend to think, it does it sign a death knell for Addison. I still think she's a Xi'an plant, but hey, that's just me.
Yeah, but it makes it interesting, doesn't it?
It does. It shows that it doesn't. It's just not. Oh yes, we'll join you. It's no. It's so it's setting that difference up. Does it mean that if you're there, and your ship's attacked, are they obligated to come and help you at least heal?
Yeah.
Does it go that far? Whatever problems, go with that. But clearly, they're saying we don't have to.
Yeah.
So,
as I expected, that most of this load screen is just fluff because it was an extra load screen. That was my.
Yeah.
You kind
but that's the only thing I can really see from that. The Orison reeling after Nine Tails attack, okay, that's just tying in with the Nine Tails stuff. The regen hiring, that kind of ties into the story of the regen stuff. So it's a little background, a little bit of lore stuff. But that would be about it, yeah.
Right. And then the only other thing that me and Grim talked about was they released these 4 skins for Pirate Week. They actually look really, really good. I like all of them. The Clipper one's probably the worst one because it's very close to a skin that we already have. But obviously it's got red glass and
it's got projectile.
Yeah, but that's it. The Ironclad one I really, really like. Fire Engine Red. It's not dull like the other skin. I really like. This is the best Basher skin. It just is the best Basher skin. In my opinion, they really highlighted the crane. I really, really like that. And then similar colors on the shiv. So all the skins up to this point for a lot of them have been rust based. So by putting some, except for the Night Blossom one, but
yeah, and that certainly does change the Basher if you put a paint on it. Takes away that.
And the shiv has a similar issue.
Yep. So I do, if I've got the Basher, do take the crane off because I think the crane looks sticky.
Hey, I want to see them
I'm in a minority, I'm sure.
When they bring some kits in, I want to see what the other ones are for the crane. Like I've been thinking, what if one's like a ladder? So it looks like there's a ladder that lays on top. I was trying to think of the most crazy things you could put on top of a ship, and that's just where my brain went. I was just like, those ladders that the 2 parts and they slide, but it's like an old wooden one with like string on it, and they have that, and it just hangs up on above your ship. Like what kind of crazy? And then obviously talked about the wrecking ball in another one, but like what crazy things could you put? Like what person should use? Oh, we don't like fins, and someone at Sergi said, "Hold my beer," and just puts an entire crane on top of the ship. Like
what on earth is the function of that crane? Like it's just a cosmetic, and it doesn't even look like it does anything for the ship. So what the hell is it there for?
We are moving into a territory too where cosmetics versus gameplay, and let me just point that out. You are putting giant things like cranes that can be turned off and on. Now, can I shoot said crane and it causes damage to the ship, or does it add extra damage, like extra health to the ship, or does it just completely ignored? And I'm at I haven't. No one's tested it. We probably should do a video ourselves at some point. But realistically,
it should.
They're the type of questions. Like, does it but then the next question becomes, because I've got the crane on there, does it also, because I'm getting a benefit of extra health, does it also mean that I fly worse?
Well,
it's heavier.
Well, or does it help you be stabilized in atmosphere because you've now got a fin?
Yeah.
Does it increase your cross section? making you easier to target. So
Exactly.
and they're the things I hope those cosmetics do.
See how we're in a slippery slope though now?
But
You know what I
it's
mean?
hard to
Like, look, this is what I want with bundling and cosmetics and stuff like that. Bundling more than anything else, because those cosmetics are just, that becomes a player choice then. If you want to have the extra damage, but you want to look like a big crane, well, that's on you, right? But yeah, I think we are very much on the slippery slope territory, and we are sliding now. We ain't stationary anymore. The landslide is in full effect, and I'm just now worried how far it's gonna slide and where it's gonna end.
Here's another bit with a crane idea.
Yeah.
Would the crane stop the basher landing in ships that have that, because it makes the ship bigger?
Yep,
Robert says, isn't it crane cosmetic? Absolutely, it is. But we're asking those questions.
Yeah.
They're massive, great big cosmetic items that are going on the ships.
Yeah.
It's not just hanging dice.
Yeah.
Or a fan.
And well, even the ones on the Shiv were relatively smallish. Like they changed the end. They had cosmetics on the outside of the engine. They had a cosmetic along the front of the Shiv, and they had, I believe it was the wing as well, right? So they all kind of roughly stayed in the same bounding box area. But when you go to this basher, oh god, I clicked the wrong thing. Excuse me. Look how big that is. That's not tiny.
And you can take it off.
Yeah. So, and there's an advantage to taking it off, because it makes your silhouette look like that of some other ships. Like, you put this thing, I know it's not exactly the same size, but scaled, and you got to remember, you're talking about distance here. It makes you look like a wolf. At distance, you look like a wolf.
Bonus.
Yeah.
And then, but then when it's on, cosmetics normally don't add that, but when it's that big, you think it should.
And when it's that big, like you said, in atmosphere, like if you're going into wind and a wind blows from the side, that would make your ship rotate or want to turn to one side.
Yeah.
But also it would make you more stable when you're flying into the wind, because it would go down either side of you. But if they've just made it cosmetic, you see where we're going here. Like at some point when cosmetics get too ridiculously large, didn't think we'd get here in the second ship, but we got here very, very quickly. You've got to start to ask the question. It's not just a paint. It's a physical 3D item. And if I can shoot that and I can cause, because here's the other thing, right? This is the solution I have in my head. If it is just cosmetic, but if I can shoot it, it should have its own health pool and it comes off.
Yep.
Then I can let that slide, right?
Yep. And the other thing with that crane, the only advantage, just looking at that picture, which I don't usually look at the ships I'm flying in this viewpoint. But it lets the crane does give that cockpit a little bit of protection from.
But that's the thing.
What's coming in. But does
it and should it? And I all come back to no. So again, we are now in this grey area of vagueness that they haven't detailed anymore.
But I'd go the opinion that the cosmetic things you do add something to the ship, not just looks, but hit points or something. But they also have that negative aspect. You can't just add and not take something away. You've got to get that balance.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I think it should be like the Shiv, where they're just small, minor 3D greebling on the outside. This is too big. Just too big.
And the advantage, the thing with the Shiv's greebles and things, that all the changes, all those cosmetics are very similar in size and place. But the second you can take, and you can't, you kind of need them, whereas this, you don't need the crane. You can take it off, and
So that again, it does come with the ship by default, though. So I think that's kind of good, because there's at least everyone that's got one cosmetic option like that. But if it's on there by default, I can let it slide. But if this had been in addition, like in a pack, then we are very much in pay to win territory if there is bonuses like that. So, as I said, we're on the slope and we're sliding. And I think I'll kind of leave it at that. But yeah, what did you think of those skins overall, Algared, for the kind of pirate themes and stuff? I really liked them. I really liked them. As did Grim.
I saw them and I had no doubt that you would really like them because they're red.
Yeah, and black. But
red and black.
Yep.
Yeah, excellent like that.
Yeah. We also went through the skins last week for the Foundation Festival, and for 410 there's got the Battalia ones that are coming in. We did go through those last week. So there are more coming into game that you can earn or grind for. So don't worry about that.
Well, that was one of the things that you mentioned, Natalia, but one of the things in the patch update that I thought sounded a bit weird. That she's not coming in 4.1, she's coming, they've got it slated for a later drop in the 4.1 patch cycle. So when 4.1 drops, if I've read it right, she's not going to be there, but she'll be put in later.
Should we talk about her physical change? Or would you rather leave that? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what they're doing. No. She was an older white red-headed woman, and now she's a younger black-haired curly woman. I don't know why they changed her like that. Because you can go search for her and she'll come up as that older red-haired woman. But in game, she's been race swapped. Necessary. There's a thing where they seem to get rid of gingers all the time. But anyway,
I also, like, for me, it's the age swap, but is also an issue. You know, why does everyone have to be so young? She is a battle-hardened, jaded individual.
To be clear, it's mainly the age thing that I'm annoyed with. Why was she de-aged and made heaps younger? Didn't make sense to me. And it's like you said, she's meant to be this old prospector that's been out there, had her time, and now essentially she's bringing in new recruits to basically help her at Nyx. I can see the story, right? You could see that is an older person. And
a young person, you know,
what would she know?
You want someone like old Jagger there to saying, "Oh yeah, you got to do this," not some. Some young.
So to put it in perspective, she looked like she was in her 60s before. Now she looks like she's in her 30s. Right, so she's got half as much experience as she had before. That's just what it looks like.
And personally, that just guts the believability of a story.
Yeah,
you go, no, that's not true. Sort of.
Yeah. So the whole age, race type of thing, I don't understand why it was done. I can understand updating the model, but why was it completely changed? And again, it's like they don't read their own lore. We can quickly read and think about it very quickly, like we just did here. There was no need to change that person. In fact, you've made it worse, as we've kind of shown. But yep. Yeah, don't talk about gingers or you'll be fighting with Essay. He'll fight you. He's got a very, very strong ginger ninja in his family, and I would not fuck with that kid when he grows up. Holy shit, and I don't mean a menace like bad, like he's gonna. You
mean like Dennis?
No, I mean like don't poke the bear.
Yeah, Dennis the Menace.
No. I mean like he is like he's like Rambo. You don't go up to Rambo and go, "Hey, dickhead." Type of thing. You know, you're gonna be in trouble. Yeah.
Now we were talking about gingers before the show, and we're saying, you know, how gingers tend to be a bit gregarious and have that
get removed,
devious nature and all that.
Yeah.
And Dennis the Menace, what was he? A ginger.
Yep.
Just saying. Dennis the Menace for those who aren't Australian.
I could probably rattle off a bunch of franchises where gingers have been placed. So yeah.
Even Pete.
Yeah, nice to see you here, Pete. You're only 45 minutes late.
5 minutes late, Pete.
He went off at me because I went into his. I was very rude. I checked the time, and it said it was like 10:30 in the morning in the UK, and I went in there to see if he was there. I was going to hang out with him for a bit. Apparently, he was in bed, and I woke him up. He got back to me like 2-3 hours later and said, "Sup?" So I woke him up, but he didn't get out of bed.
Well,
Yeah.
I get it.
And apparently,
I
10:30 a.m. is an indecent time in the UK. Apparently, you're all lazy asses in the UK, and you're not out of bed before 10:30 a.m.
There you go, X.
Yeah.
SA says, I nailed it.
Yeah.
He is like Dennis the Menace.
Oh,
there
wow.
you go.
Right. Oh, well, Ash says his gingers have no soul. So,
yeah, I know. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah. Well, we now know what
harsh.
the Dark Ages were all about, don't we? Yep. It wasn't witches, it was gingers.
Gingers.
Yeah. The Scarlet Ginger Trials. That's what I heard. Remember it as, don't you?
Oh, well, Scarlet Woman.
Yep.
Novel Scarlet Woman. Clearly, gingers were scarlet, so
Yep.
They've done those evil things.
All right, let's have a look at how many questions we've got in here, because I think we've got a few.
Got about a page.
Got about a page, but we're going to need more, especially if we want this to go for another 2 hours and 15 minutes. But we have been ending stream early. It is the lull period, as I said. Most of you guys that turn up now know what this is. We didn't really have a massive lull period last year. And it probably wouldn't have been if 410 was already out. I bet you CIG are very keen to get Orison in people's hands so they can get over that hump. Right, you want to kick us off, Algared?
All right, first question is from Spike 6K. He says, well, they say, when do the paints roll out, and how do I know I have? How do I know I have done it right? I think he's talking about the Twitch drop type things.
Yeah, well, I've already got them on my account. I can show that. I chucked a sub. Who did I chuck a sub to? I think I chucked a sub to Jen last night. So if I go in here to, whole website's locked up. Hang on. You can experience the lockup with me. Isn't that great? Oh, there we go. My hangout, and they've already been, as long as your account is linked, they're already in there. So I've got those two in my hangout already, as you can see. Oh, they gave us an Aurora to give away, Algared.
Oh, nice.
They did. Oh, yeah. Wait. I'm a big fan of that Mark II. Oh, wow.
And unlike the sale, it's a lifetime insurance. The sale's only 24 months.
Yeah.
The starter ship. So.
Does it come with the skin? Doesn't look like it comes with the skin, though, Algared. It's just the regular Mark II.
Not just the regular pack.
And it doesn't come with any modules. Ooh. Ooh. Bitch slap. Wow. Yeah, that should have come with the modules, guys. That's...
it does come with the gun, though. It is a starter pack, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
and it also drops the ship to 2 SCUs, so it's...
It encourages the person who gets it to have to buy a module. $10 or $20 or whatever the module price was.
Yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is. But I did. Unless you're saying it's not actually in game yet, that it probably comes with the next patch. If that's what the question is, that would be my assumption. Wouldn't it be yours, Agra? That's how it's been in the past. If it's something's not in it, usually kind of comes in with the next patch.
No, that's usually pretty much it. It gets recorded. If it gets put into your account, it might get credited to your account saying yes, you've got it, but then in game it might come in a different patch, or the thing gets updated at a certain time. Yeah.
You only get the Manu Cube for subscribing to someone. So I was like, yeah, I'll just look at someone I know, so Jen or whatever. But there are plenty of, as I said, smaller people, but there was no one I really knew. I was struggle. Yeah, and I hadn't subbed to Jen in whatever. Right. Any next question? Unless you want to add to that, mate.
Nope. So next question. RB Disciple says, how does the Origin 400i function as a dedicated Pathfinder explorer compared to the mid-sized generalist ships like the Drake Clipper or Crusader C1 Spirit?
Let you take that one because that's more in your domain, but I'd say not as well.
Yep. Although it should, well, It should at the moment because it is a dedicated
Hmm.
Explorer ship. But the fact that it's an I indicates they're a variance of the ship. So
If they
if it's a
remember
variant,
their own law, yeah.
yeah, if they remember their own law. But the fact that it's got a place for the bike, the fact that it's got the kind of cooler rooms for the components that can also be used for storage of stuff that needs to be kept cool. The fact that you've got your cargo bay, your living quarters, and your globe, your big search globe, etc. in the ship does give it that explorer aspect.
We've looked at variants in the past too. Like me and Algared are a big fan of the, what do we call it? The 455F or the 445F or whatever. That's what we call it.
The FFFFF.
Yes, because it'll be a fabricator, and we just thought having lots of Fs would be funny. But in that the central area, they've got these two climate controlled cargo type of areas. One side gets the bed, the other side gets the fabricator. You've still got the cargo room with all the cargo. You're good. It would work really well as that. And then the other one I think about having talked earlier is Algared. We haven't talked about this, so this is off the cuff. This is just on my head, right? The whole cargo bay is a room. Could that be a single solo shop ship? And I think it could.
Possibly. Your cargo bay comes a shop with cargo storage because the shop has.
Yep. You wouldn't have a lift
so
you wouldn't have the lift anymore, but you could still enter via the front and kind of walk up and in. It's possible. It's not it's super convenient, but it's possible.
Possible. Although if you had the lift going down to the cargo bay, you could even possibly have your shop.
Or just have the whole thing come down.
Yeah. Have the whole drop come down with your, which is your shop and your terminal.
Room drops to the floor. Yeah.
So yeah, that could work. That'd be quite nice.
And Groper's got a good one too there. He says CIG is missing a trick not selling a 420 hydroponic ship.
Oh yeah, that'd work.
It would be a 425 though, technically.
No, 425 would be the combat.
Yeah, but you can't. They don't tend to do zeros. They're all on the 0.5.
Ah, yes.
So you'd have to.
So it'd have to be a.
Yeah, you can't do it as a 420. Again,
Not
it's
a
their law.
420.
I didn't make the law.
Yeah.
They made the law.
Yeah. So it'd be a.
So yeah, you'd be shit out of luck.
The 415 would be the Explorer.
Rabbit said the Cutlass Green. Actually, that would be funnier. The Cutlass Green.
Cutlass Green. Yeah, that would be that would be their drug.
Yeah, the Cutlass farming ship, the Cutlass Green. I think that's funny as.
Cutlass Green. Yeah.
Yeah, it's legitimate hydroponic growing of plants, guys. Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's needed for the outpost because no fuel, no soil. Yeah. But yes, but the hydroponic ship would be great. You just need to find a number that they haven't used for other things. So currently,
it's not.
You've got the 400 is the base, or the 00 is the base.
But
the
then
15 is exploration.
But then you lose the joke. That's the whole problem. 420 is the time period. You go do that stuff. So that's his point. It kills the joke, fortunately. All right. Next one, Algared.
RB Disciple has another question. They say, what specific layout changes or function changes are planned for the 600i interior rework, particularly regarding its exploration module and vehicle bay capacity? Vehicle bay is big enough for a... was it a tank?
Yeah, large tank. Went from a medium vehicle like the Ursa to literally like a large vehicle. Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, basically the front section would be the living areas and all the back section would get redone. So
yeah, it was basically the modular area got a lot of it as well. So they went through, and I'm just opening this old post from a couple of years ago. Loads. Loading.
And yes, Sangrape, but 100%. The Endeavour has the hydroponic modules, so why not on other ships? 100% agree.
Yep.
And the fact that you've got similar things in the Raori outposts, the wall, the little wall bits of the circuit.
Going to post this in both
Absolutely put them in
chat
ship.
so people can load it for themselves, because I'm having loading issues. But this is the post, so I hit whoever asked that question. Who asked that question, Algared? Just off the top of your head.
That was RB Disciple.
Yep. For some reason the pictures are not loading. Can I force them to load? I can. That looks like a Corsair, not a 600i. What the hell is
Does look
this?
like a Corsair.
Oh, but you got new rendered shots in here, so if you go through these, you'll find what you're looking for, mate. So these are the original concepts of it, and then
The original rework concept.
yeah, are in here as well. So they go through, they show out the new loadout, and there is a video here as well that goes through it as well. But obviously I can't get it to load properly. Maybe you have better luck. But yeah,
But there were things like, larger suit lockers, ammo storage.
you've cut out again, Algared, can't hear.
Okay.
Yeah, cutting out again too. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Your noise, it's like your noise gate just turned on and cutting out for half of what you're saying. Anyway, but yeah, as Algared was kind of saying, they go through everything. They show how it's far more luxurious than the current version of the ship. In short, that would be the summary. If you go through it all, it is much better in the reconcepting than it ever was in its current state. But when they go all out and they give you all these pretty pictures and stuff like that, that instantly told me and Algared that this thing was really far away. Because why do you go to the length of redoing all that and then telling people about it rather than just doing it?
Because we're not working on it, but we don't want you to melt it.
Yeah, we don't want you to get rid of it. We want to actively encourage more. And I guarantee you sales of this went up when this announcement came out. Absolutely.
Yep.
So it was to encourage more sales of something that they weren't going to work on for a long time.
Yep, 100%. And encourage us not to melt the ship, because those of us who have it live in hope.
Yeah.
Because we've always lived in hope that it would be improved.
Yeah, I know Pete's got one, and I know Lemming's got one. There's a few people in chat that I know that have got one. I know there are a lot of fans of this ship, and we'll all sit here and tell you that this new version is much better. But sadly, like anything that's good in this game, you tend to have to wait for a really long time. And I think if we all put on our big boy pants, there are always signs that if something is more likely to be worked on, and it's when you see more Origin ships being worked on, where we've just seen the M80, and also different Origin ships, and I think that would be the commercial stuff that we talked about earlier, would also point to more Origin, something that Origin can do, like that type of gameplay. And I think one of the other reasons what we can all state is a lot of things are not being worked on right now because we don't have that foundational things like server meshing fully in and base building. So until you see those two big ticket items come out, a lot of stuff is locked away. We've been sitting here perpetually waiting for 2-3 years now for some of this stuff to get out. They've told us that base building is now next year, right? So you can just took everything I just said and it's that at least after that. So is it the end of 2027? Is it 2028? Like that's how it's pretty sad.
I feel for Strikin X, who says they're working through the backlog, but doesn't seem to be behind their agenda or their list. Well, I'm still waiting on the Odyssey, and I'm like,
you've already paid for it, mate. That's why you.
But that's why you're sitting there waiting. But you know, I feel for you, but wait until if you've been waiting for a Crucible or an Endeavor or Banner Merchant.
That's the one. The Banner Merchant.
They're the ones you actually feel for people. The Odyssey, that's
a baby, bro.
That's a baby ship.
That thing only just got its training wheels off. Like, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you're not waiting for that
one. No, I feel for anyone. We're all kind of waiting. We're all feeling the pain. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are right. The Banner Merch, man, 2013. It's only going to ever be sold for one day, never again. and I brought it, and I know a few other people that brought it, and we were heavily lied to.
Well, the original idea,
and it's also not the same ship either. It was more
No,
like the
well,
Raelian, and now it's more like the Privateer.
well, also the other thing of the original, as I understand the original concept of the ship, it was a Banu ship that was a Banu kind of family generational ship that pass on. And so it was supposed to be really hard for humans to get because
Yeah.
it was Banu.
And no.
But it became, as they started selling it, it really became the Banu ship for human export.
Well, again, a lot of us content creators pushed it, yourself and I included. And you know, originally, if you go back and read the original pitch sale of that one day, it was meant to be the best cargo ship in the game. That was how it was sold. You know, it was designed for smuggling runs. It was designed off the merchant clipper ships of around the 1900s. You and I went in through this multiple times, and it is not that anymore. It's now a flying bazaar. Yeah.
But in some ways, I actually like the fact that it grew, and it grew basically, you know, basically interest sized in many ways. And the reason I like it is because the Banu didn't have. Back in the day, they didn't have their different families focusing on different things. That was the Xi'an. Banu just had their collective, and
we had this.
They didn't have a navy. They just had a militia, and everyone would join in on the militia to fight.
Gotta stop you, bud. I just love our ability to take a 600i question and start talking about a Banu merchant.
Yeah, I know. Hey, that's because we like talking shit. What can I say?
But yeah.
But that ties in with what we were saying earlier to our poster who was saying, hey, just put the question in and then we can...
Yeah. You can see where things go.
And...
Yeah. You get a bit off topic, but
yeah,
it's all relative too, because those 600i people will be doing the same weight. And that's the little bit of thing a sad little condolence you have. Whenever you're waiting for something, know that you're not the only person doing so, not just for your ship, but every other ship in the game. And to their credit, they have knocked a lot off, right? A lot of the ships have been knocked off, and a lot of the ones on the backlogs are those much older ships.
The bigger ships that require things like server meshing or other gameplay to be brought in to really bring them out. But the other thing you've got to also admit is a ship that's been held back, the ships will always feel better when they've had time to percolate and rework them and do stuff. So the longer you wait for your ship, usually the better it ends up being.
True.
You don't get less than you pay for, you usually get more.
Well, again, Banu Merchant's a really good example. Like, how can I be angry that I paid $250 for a smuggler, like the Raelian? I paid for a Banu-esque Raelian, and now I'm literally getting like a capital-sized 890 jump variant. No, it's an 890 jump variant, let's be honest, right? But that's what it is. So I've essentially gone from $250 to almost $1,000. Can't really complain about that, can I? And the price does speak to that. It's currently what, $650. You add 10 to 20%, that's at least what, 750, 800 in that ballpark. It's up there with the Perseus now in price, easily.
Yep. So, and that's for it's, I think it's going to be 890 price tag. Not 890, but the 890 ship price tag, around that price.
I think for a lot of people, with how the 890 jump came out, right? We're going back to what happened with the 600i here. Not the best form of luxury, and so you get a new ship. Like, look what happened with the Wolves versus the other Origins and stuff. It's like, oh, there's a new sense of luxury. Well, clearly, Alien, you go into Alien territory, Banu are also luxury. You're going to have 3 competing luxury manufacturers now. It's not just going to be Origin. You're going to have Kruger, and you're going to have the Banu. So you work that all through. Are you trying to tell me now, with the number of ships that we have Algared now, I know it's in their lore, that the Banu don't have very many ships? No. They're gonna find a way to slip a few others in there.
Yeah, the Banu have already changed that in the law, because you've now got a house a clan or family group in the Banu that focus on their military ships, and
Yeah.
the Defender was a product of that.
Yeah. So again, the law will change to fit the ships they want to sell. That's it.
So, and I think, sometimes the law will change as the games develop and things are more fleshed out. Like, we're talking the Banu Merchantman way back in the beginning. The law for the races was there, but it was also very minuscule or paper thin to give them that area so they could expand out.
We do know the Banu are a harder one to predict because their ships are very organic, right? So exterior wise, I think they'll do potentially do. Ooh, this is how my brain works, right? You tell me if you think I'm wrong here in my thinking, right? Traditionally, the outsides are all bespoke on all ships, right? They're a singular model. They're easy to make because you're not modeling inverted, right? Because you're not in a tube trying to model shit, right? You're on the outside, right? But the inside is generally modular pieces that they essentially kit together. Now, what if you inverted that whole thing for the Banu and made them kits on the outside and organic on the inside? Not saying they're going to do that. If they did, it would speed it up, would it not? I'm right in my thinking. Like, it speeds it up. Yeah. They would start to look a bit the same. That's the only problem. And again, if you look at the Defender, it's got that Ming vase type gold stuff. You see where I'm going. I don't know. There's goods and bads there. Time sped up, but they don't look as good. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. It's a matter of waiting it and seeing.
But again, with how big
one thing we have heard about the Banu Merchantman is it is pretty much bespoke the whole way through because it's so unique.
Yeah, and it was the same with
whether they're going to maintain doing that.
It was the same with the Defender, right? So can you also hybrid it? So can you make it so like the rooms are bespoke, but I was going to call it tunnels, but you know what I mean? Like the adjoining pieces, are they modular?
Yeah.
Do they, do they find a way to speed it up? You
may make it a bit, make Banu ships a bit like space stations where you've got your rooms and you just can tack.
Well, that's what ships are. We know that. You and I theorized this years ago, and it's all come to pass.
Yeah, true. We've done that for years. So.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? Is there a way? That's the question. Is there a way they can speed it up? And I think there is. I just don't know what they're going to choose. And that would also then allow them to make some more Banu ships. Because right now we've essentially got a capital and a light fighter. And I think you would agree, if that light fighter is considered 2, I think you would want to at the very least have a ship, one of every size to complete the Banu. Right? And I lay that out. There's a room. There's room there for probably 4 to 5 more ships.
Yeah, well, the fact that the Banu Merchantman does have that. What did Ben refer to it? Ben referred to it as a synchronous, but a kind of a system where the fighter would be blended with the Banu Merchantman and vice versa. So
synergistic, is that the word you're thinking of?
It's synergistic.
Synergy.
But
he did say that. Yeah, I remember now.
But it was that idea to be there. And it'd be nice to see the Banu Merchantman be able to take Banu snubs or Banu light fighters or Banu heavy fighters.
Yep.
Just because it makes sense. For the Banu Merchantman brings its own.
Maybe they also go the other way too, right? Where Banu found that they don't. How do I put this? They do it more through their buildings and vehicles. So they've gone about it from a logistics standpoint where they don't have a ship that's a farm ship. They just have a building and vehicles that do the farming. And they've just found that moving things around rather than having you get where I'm going, right? Yeah. So that allows you to lower down their ships, and their ships are more generalistic. Like, because I was sitting here going, what are the things that the Banu do? You know, we know they're slavers, we know they're traders and stuff like that. Can you do a whole slaving ship? And I went, well, not really. That's just a cargo ship. Oh wait, we've already got that in them. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
when you look at the Banu, if you're trying to put the Banu as a racial group or a cultural group, to me they come across as gypsies. They're a
yes,
caravan people.
yes,
They don't really have. They've got planets that are kind of they use, but Banu space always seem to be that nebulous area where it's not really.
So what
Banu,
I'm hearing
yeah.
is Algared wants the ship of the desert, so he's looking forward to the Banu camel coming to a Banu near you. Right, that's all I heard.
Banu camel. Yep.
Yeah, but no, you've got it in one. They are the gypsies. They are nomadic. They are, and that would lead into their ship design. So you see where I'm going. Maybe I'm not wrong in what I just said there. They have more generalist ships, and their vehicles do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, possible.
That could be really interesting. Like, and it would make them unique to the other races, where it's kind of a strategic weakness because they rely on their buildings and vehicles so much. Their ships will then have to be more generous, like cargo and combat. And ironically, that's all we got right now. Oh yeah.
Yep.
I did like really interesting.
Yeah, I did like Mega Tiger Ninja's view. He says, they said, I'm not in a hurry for the BMM, the Origin Crucible of the Orion, the Crucible of the Endeavour, or the Odyssey, because they don't want their ships to be superseded or become outdated before they've had their time in the sun. And I think that's an absolute full-on.
Yep. Again, look at the 600i. Some others like 890 jump, and I'm not trying to pick on Origin. I'm sure there's some others out there as well, but Reclaimer's a good one. Starfarer is another one. You look at those and you go, "Oh, we don't want them rushing this shit." You know, we don't want them to have to do the shit twice. But by the same token, they had to learn not how to make ships.
How about the?
Hang on. The last thing I'll add is I think we'll all agree they have been very slow to do so. And I don't think our job as a community is done yet. What I'm starting to realize, we need to slap them around a bit more until they get the message. How long did it take him to put in the labels for? They carried on about the labels for the Perseus and the Polaris. You and I were talking about labels for things with military people back in 2014. It took them 10 years to get up to speed, right? So the stuff that we've all, but not just you and me, but the entire community's been talking about.
Been saying stuff.
Why aren't they coming to us asking for a little bit of feedback? I find that a little weird, right? And there are plenty of people that they could go out to. Like, there is shit tons of military people in this community. If you go out to the right people and ask, you can get that information back very, very quickly, right? It's not go out and talk to everyone. It's like you know, we talked years ago about informed opinions, right? So you just need to find the right person that can put you in contact with the person you need to talk to. You don't want to talk to every single person and then sort through 90% of the stuff just to get to the person that has that. You know, if I wanted to, like when I did the professional point of views, I went out and found a submarine operator and a radar operator. The submarine operator was incredibly hard to find, but I found one, right? So the point being is, if I can do it, someone at CIG can definitely do it.
Someone for reach, someone for a company of 1,000 people, you know, someone in the company would have.
And now their thought process is, well, we don't want to do that because it takes too long, or do we really need that feedback? Now, I would argue, from your and my perspective, from what we've seen, it is in 100% worth it from what we've seen across the board. That we've had so many professionals and people that have just an alternative point of view change our mind over the years.
Well,
you can be the other side of it and go, I know what I'm doing. I'm a creative person. Don't tell me what to do. Well, no, that's not how we learn and grow. If you cut yourself off and you be, I don't know, what's the other word? Arrogant? I don't know how else to put that. You don't learn and evolve. And if you are making a ship and you freely admitted you are game developers, not ship designers, then you need to go find said person about that profession. It's just that simple. And I guarantee you those ships will get better because of it. our show has got better because of it. So I
Yep.
can only imagine what it would do to the actual ships.
You look at the and by the way, X-Quinn, thank you for that tier sub tier on Twitch. Most appreciated.
Enjoy your cube.
Yep, enjoy your cube.
I want to have like a fuzzy dice every time someone does a sub or something. Go or a Rubik's cube or something. I don't have anything like that though. Anyway, keep going.
No, I don't either. You know,
we could just use your head. It's the closest thing I think we've got on screen to a cube.
that's an egg, not a cube. I'm sorry.
That's what I meant. It's the closest thing we've got. Anyway.
I was going to say something, but then when I went to the subscriber queue, the
Quinn threw you off. It's Quinn's fault.
What I was going to say. There you go. Don't even need you to distract me. I do it myself.
We were talking about professionals and getting opinions from people, and just how much that's essentially changed your and mine thought process. Because you don't know what you don't know. It's just that simple.
True, indeed.
You know,
I still can't remember the point I was going to make. It was a tangent, so it would have gone down another rabbit hole, which
it's fine.
Probably wouldn't help our questions.
Right.
Citizen Ninja said,
his lips are moving, but I do not hear anything.
Yep. I was my brain was processing something. Sorry.
It didn't compute.
The old processor. I've got a Pentium like 120.
We could hear it grinding. Old. Don't worry. There was some really profuse sounds coming out of there. A lot of smoke, fire. You know,
that's right.
The whistle's going off. Yeah. Yep. All right.
Yep. The old steam engines were going. Citizen Ninja had a question. With the MSR on sale, it makes me wonder what's the hold up with data running.
Actually, can I just interrupt you?
I can't imagine being too complex to implement.
So Spike went in and tested the basher. He said shields on the basher do go down just shooting the crane, and after 3 size and 1 size, the crane falls off. So the crane does fall off. Interesting. But the ship does take damage with the crane on. Interesting. So it's actually a negative. That is how it should be. That's how it should be. Okay. That's good news.
Good. I leave the crane off. Awesome. And I don't like the crane, so I take it off. It just looks,
a lot of people are going to leave the crane off.
Hey. But yeah, can't really answer that question. Why is the delay on data running?
Data running is the same as everything else. It's just they don't want to put new gameplay in until they have all the foundational stuff in.
And that probably is the guts of it. You don't want to put it in and then have to redo it.
Yeah, it's taken so long. They've gone back and done ones that they've already put in, like the Starlight they redid the refueling 2 years ago, and then it's taken even so much longer. They've gone back and added new ships. Like this has taken them far longer than they wanted it to take. It is really obvious.
And I think that probably is the real reason why we don't see the new gameplay.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to go back and rework stuff.
That's it.
They want to have it nutted down and sorted first.
Yeah. Because if you put it in now, you've got to make it wait for the current game now. You come along and you've got this whole completely new system. You've got to redo all that work again. So they've probably made it work for server meshing, but server meshing's not in yet. Until server meshing drops in, I guarantee you, once it drops in rapid succession, every patch you'll probably see a piece of gameplay drop in after it, or at least a couple of patches. Like you'll see bounty hunting was there, hacking was there. There's probably more medical stuff there, and they're just the ones we've heard about. And that was almost 3 years ago now.
And if you're realistic when you think of those most of those things, every one of them is a subset of scanning.
Yep.
And so we need a robust scanning system.
Yep.
And then have the different.
We are seeing some new scanner things in there, like those Battaglia missions have some scanning stuff in them. So there is things pointing to things moving along, but it's the server meshing. Like they said, server meshing this year. Man, if it doesn't come in, people are going to be pissed. You know what I mean? Like we've waited all year, this very dry year, and then no server meshing, and they've been very quiet about it. Heard shit.
And
Normally you hear an update or two, or things are going well, guys. We haven't heard nothing.
It's kind of quietness about it.
Yeah, that makes it scary.
Learning, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, we should, if Squadron was coming, we should have heard about Squadron by now. We ain't heard shit. You know, so there's getting these warning flares, and I put that to you guys in chat too. Are your spidey senses tingling? Because that's kind of where I'm at. I was like, you know, they're saying it's this, and my body's telling me something else. You know what I mean? We're wired for instincts and pattern recognition and stuff in our evolution, and the patterns ain't learning up. So something's going on.
Yep, really, it does leave you going,
Yeah,
things that make you go,
Citizen Ninja says, I figured at least tier 0 data running should be doable in the current PU. Yeah, they're all doable, but then you've got to redo that work again. And when you don't have enough staff, you can't afford to do shit twice.
And so you hold it off.
You hold it off.
Or if, as you said, they've got it rigged in, set up the server meshing. If you want to put it in now, if you've got it already set, you've got to do that work again just to put it in. Exactly. And then when server meshing drops, you've got to do the work to take it out.
And if things have been updated, you know, it gets worse. Yeah. So they're trying to limit their future reworking stuff. It's really obvious, but by the same token, when something gets held up, it holds everything up. It's like a blockage in a pipe. As soon as there's a blockage, everything else backs up. And that's what we're seeing. You know, let's be honest, we all thought Squadron was coming out in 2024. Taking another 2 years. And maybe longer. Yep. But my point still stands. We've been in a blockage period for 2 years. We've got to get over this hump, and let's hope they can do it, because if they don't do it, the longer it goes on and the more problems that occur, the more people you're going to lose. And if you think back over the last 2 years, I'll give you a really simple example. The PvP community. Avenger 1, massive in the PvP community. He's gone. Him and his entire community just gone. They don't exist anymore. He doesn't play the game anymore. He's moved on to something else. That's just one area of it. And that's, if it continues, that'll be really common for people to move on. Because these warning bells go, well, no more money, closing my wallet. You know? And that's the only tool we have, by the way, is our wallet. You know, how do you know, if we want to send them a signal as a community, we're going to have to start doing it with our wallets. We're going to have to, and I'm not saying, how do I put this? If you were going to send a message to CIG Algared, right? You couldn't get someone to go, right, day one of this sale, don't buy this ship. But what you probably could do is get them to delay it by a day. Yep. So if they wanted to buy the brand new fancy ship, but we all wanted to send a message, do you reckon we could get the community to be mature enough to go hold off by a day, just so they can see that on the graph, the dip on the graph, to say we want to send you a message?
Yeah, hopefully. Like if the community got behind it and said, yes, we are going to day one of a sale, we're not going to buy any ships because of X, Y, Z.
Because we want you to get the message.
And if the community all said, yep, and CIG put it out, yeah, it would certainly let CIG see, okay, they said they're going to do this. Did it affect our sales? And if it affected the sales, then they go, okay, yeah,
well, that's the thing.
Especially if it was like day one and the next day it went back up to normal.
Yeah, that's all I mean. I'm not saying don't buy ships. I'm just saying if we can have an agreed day, it doesn't even have to be the first day of the sale. It could be like you'd want it to be an important date that they're expecting a big spike, and they go look at it and the spike's the other way, right? But if we could do that, don't you think they'd go, ooh, shit, they know. They know. Crap. And so we could send the message we want to send. Because they would go look for, why did this happen? And if we're all here clearly going, we're going to do this because of this, maybe that's how we do it, right? Maybe we say, hey,
Storm Solo doesn't have faith in our ourselves as a community to organize.
All right.
And I part of me agrees, although we did manage to get the MPUV as the king. So
First time chatter, wrecked man 194.
yep.
I'm assuming that's what he is there. He says, I bet a new data runner when we get a data mission, MSR and Herald probably don't fit the vision for data running anymore. It is very common when a new gameplay hits, it's not one of the ships that they've already built. It's something new. Would 100% agree with what you just said. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. We've been talking about refining this year. We have an expanse. We have a module in the galaxy. I bet you there's a new ship sitting there. That's the refining ship. And it ain't one of those two.
And we've got a refinery in the staff era as well, which is, you know.
But that's not a primary. They always release it. It's their primary function as well. Yeah. Anyway.
But that was my segue into the question from
Edgeway.
Lone Star. Yeah, my segue.
Are you drunk? Are you slurring your speech? No. That's the second time today. Now, you guys didn't see it during the audio test. What did you say during the audio test?
He claimed I said Harriston.
Dude, do I have to go to the footage?
No, I was doing Old Man Hurston.
The footage. I have video evidence.
No, execute. I'll just do Old Man Hurston, and he'll say.
He didn't say Hurston. He said
I am
Hurton. Like he had an E, not a U. He goes, it's Old Man Hurton.
Old Man Hurston. Old Man Hurston. Because Old Man Hurston does not force his T's. They're more.
There's no T. It was a U to an E. Where the fuck is the T? The T was in both of them.
Hey. Anyway, Lodestar has a question.
All right, I'm going to put it up on the Discord, and they can pull it apart. Right?
Yep.
They'll work it out. I'll have to upload it, but I will upload it and put it on Discord, and they can pick it apart and tell us who's right and who's wrong.
He'll put it in the roast channel, just so you know.
There's a roast channel?
Yeah, you never removed it.
Oh shit, it is still there. Yeah, it's going to go on the roast channel, definitely. I should just change it to the Algared roast channel.
He doesn't even know what's on our channel.
Well, no, let's be honest.
Because Lemmy usually looks after it.
We don't do the Discord. It's all theirs. We just work there.
It's true. We don't.
They've got full fucking autonomy. They ask us if they want us to do things or stuff like that, but they're big boys. I let them do. You know, I don't want to be. Yep. I'm not a dictator. Fuck that.
They say, "Can we do this?" And we go, "Oh,
yeah, sure." Almost every time. Lung, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it, mate. Never required, never expected, but thank you. And that went to Run Solari, so make sure you thank Lung for your sub.
Solari, awesome. Anyway, Lodestar's question.
Yep.
Was, what do you think about the multi-tool and its attachments being sold in the Ready for Anything career pack? Money grab, or is it convenient?
Ready for Anything? Wasn't that the Foundation Festival? No. So they're selling a Ready for Anything. Here we go. Let's have a look. I'll bring everyone over.
I've basically got the kit and all the components.
Okay, I just want to say this. Look. That's the Ready for Anything. Isn't that the same thing? Oh shit, I closed it by accident. God damn it. Clicked middle mouse and closed it. Apologies. I'll have to open it again. So, Ready for Anything. That's the same pack. So, if you get referred, you get it for free. If you've got no friends, you got to spend $10.
Okay. So does it feel like a money grab? Yes.
A little bit, but it would be super convenient for new players. So these are conveniences. A lot of these armor bundles are conveniences. The same thing when we talked about the big gun one, the super heavy.
Yep.
They're not required. They're conveniences. So you don't need to spend $10. But if you want to make it more convenient for yourself, well, it is kind of convenient for $10 is not a lot in this day's money anymore.
But also the advantage of that is it goes into your hangar, which means
it's always
always got it.
Yeah.
So you've always got access to it.
I would also argue, how many multi-tools do you have now?
Oh, I've got 50 million.
So I would also argue eventually you're going to get a lot of this shit for free anyway. So it is a pay for convenience, as I said.
Yeah. I've got so many multi-tools that
I'm
I
just-
don't know what to do with them.
I'm just really worried about what do you call it? Not prioritizing, predatory monetization of new people.
Yep.
Because if you come in and you accidentally buy something and you've got a buyer's remorse afterwards, do you think that person's going to spend more money later?
And that's the problem, isn't it?
That is a problem. But by the same token, let's think of this in long term. I can melt that and get $10 back and $10 credit to add back to another ship upgrade.
Yep.
So it's not all a loss.
It can be a positive.
It can be a positive. Well, it's never going to be a positive because you feel like you got forced into it, but it's fixable. What I'm trying to say. So, you need that Aurora skin. What Aurora skin are you talking about, Spike? The Foundation Festival.
I'm assuming he's talking about the Foundation Festival.
My favorite Aurora skin is just the one that the VMXCO one, the one with the red and white stripes. But if they put one in that's like red, yellow, you see where I'm going? Like almost like a dragonfly look on a like the Aurora is right for a couple of dragonfly skins, like a bluey green dragonfly and like a red yellow. You know the looks I'm talking about, right? You know. Delicious. But hey, I'm not the one that's
opening his wallet to those.
Yeah, I'm not the one at CIG that has to. Man, I just there's so many missed opportunities. Like, and again, it comes back to the community. Like, we are the market for your product. If we're telling you that this is what we want, then do what we want and you'll make money. It's not a hard expectation, right? We're seeing it again. I'm going to talk about this real briefly, right? I'll try to keep it brief. Halo Campaign Evolve came out the other day, right? And the changes they've made in that game are not for the better, right? Long story short, I'll just probably the most egregious one. They put it on Unreal Engine 5, right? Now, do you remember? I know you probably never played Halo because it's not your type of game, but you were around when it came out, right?
Yeah.
What would you say? What type of world it was? Do you remember anything about the world at all, or not?
Really, I could only go based on what I know of a Halo world.
Yeah, it was an artifact. It was an old alien artifact. This giant halo that had been there for millions of years, and the plants had overgrown. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And basically, you go into it, and because they've put in Unreal Engine 5, everything's new and shiny. It's like when people complained about the prequels over the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yep.
Exactly the same problem. It has lost all its stylistic feel, and it just looks all new and shiny. And that's just one of the myriad of problems it's got. I'm not going to go into the political shit, because there's a whole bunch of political shit that people are pissed off about as well. But when you look at it, it's this company that has taken what Bungie made, and they're now calling themselves, they were called 343 Industries, they're now calling themselves Halo Studios, and they've just butchered they've come in, take ownership of something that they never made themselves, that they clearly don't understand, and they're just making it worse and worse. What does that remind you of? What have you, the movie industry, the games industry, law not being followed in certain games, the reworking of ships,
reworking every old classic movie that they can think of for a quick buck.
I'm seeing it even in Star Citizen. This is my point, right? Sometimes you've got to follow your own rules. We need rules to follow, and
I'm perplexed by the Real Drama 24's.
What did you say? Was it Twitch?
Algared.
What did you say?
Rest in peace, Algared. But
what did you say? Was it on YouTube or Twitch?
Rip Algared.
He's probably implying you're getting cancelled. I think the time of cancelling is beyond us now. I think we have moved back to, we are slowly going back to normalcy. See how that goes.
The simple fact that I'm a white, old white heterosexual male,
you
evangelical,
seen and not heard is what they say these days.
Like students, children. Got it. I did say there was a segue before. I had a question, and I did say it was Lodestar. I was wrong. It was RB Disciples, and it was how severely, and this segue was going back to the Staff era.
Yep.
And he says, how severely does the small fuel payload on the Starlight impact mission profits when running commercial refueling contracts?
Hmm.
And my answer is significantly.
Yep.
You can do single ships. Second you get up to a fleet, you're going back to your 2 or 3 times back to a station to do it. I very quickly, when I was using it, said, sod this. I'm going to just use my Starfarer.
Yep.
Because the Starfarer could load up and do several missions in a run.
I've just remembered we needed to talk about this, and I totally forgot about it. So I want to cut to this when we can, Algared.
Yep.
Because we need to go through it.
We do need to do. Yes, we do.
Finish your question, and then we'll do that.
No, well, that was it. In terms of a Starlight, and I'm pretty certain you agree with me anyway. But the Starlight's fuel it's a taster. It gives you a taste of refueling stuff, but it doesn't really.
You've only got to look at the price of a lot of the ships in game, and they are very much a taster. Now things like the Golem are purchasable and stuff like that. They're quite cheap to buy because they are a taster.
Yeah, and some of those taster ships, like the little Salvation, do blend well with the bigger ships because they can go into the bigger ships, so you can actually use them to gather RMC to help with repairs. But as a whole, the small ships just don't really go.
So the ship
showdown
or the shit showdown, whichever one you prefer. I think both are viable. This is probably the shittiest part of this whole competition is how they do this. And what I was going to say is if you want to vote for a certain ship, find a photo of a certain ship. Everyone's got paint on their computer and just draw some lines around it. You know, put a smiley face on it, whatever you want. Be kid with crayon as you want, and submit that because they can't judge you on your art voting skill, right? You know, so if all you've got to do, like if you look at that photo there, right, that's a really good example. This person has literally gone into Photoshop and just done the wireframe across the top.
Yep.
This person's just, you can see a lot of people have done them with AI and stuff. This one's a Lego one. You know, you don't have to go all out. Right?
Yep.
Obviously, the better one's going to rise to the top, but don't be embarrassed because the more submissions that are there, and the other thing they're doing this year that's really interesting, Algared, is the amount of time people sit in certain ships.
Yeah.
And I think they've definitely done that to top things for the 85X. I am really worried the 85X isn't getting in this year now.
Yep. So what everyone has to do is log in game
and rent an 85. You've got to rent an 85X because you probably don't own one.
Yep. If you don't own one,
and then sit in it and just go to bed.
Yep, go to bed.
Oh, you'll have to have something.
You've got to need that little doobie.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have the auto logger so you don't get kicked out as well.
And that will push the 85X up. Yes,
numbers up. Yeah, quite realistically, since I heard about that, I think that was deliberately put in to fight things like.
Oh yeah, that's them trying to. No one flies the 85X, so it can't be a ship that we use.
But you're seeing the ships going past, right? I thought the Prowl Utility didn't win last year, did it? But it was in. It was in the vote. I don't think that's going to make it up.
Made a fair showing.
Yeah, I think with all the new ships, I don't think it's going to make it up. But look at the ones that are going past. Very. It's
very reminiscent of our list.
But there are some in there that are like, why is the mole in there? Yep. Not the moth. Why is the mole? Stuff like that. Yep. So again, as I said, you get these really weird outliers because people, like artistic people, are also a little bit out there.
Yep.
So some of the ones that are in here are a little weird.
I do like that one, the logbook one with the sketch. That is quite nice.
This one?
No, the one next to it.
The Perseus.
That one.
Yeah, it's a Perseus.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
I also did like that model.
Yeah.
The models are quite nice.
I'm not going to sit here and tell people art is bad. It's not about the art. It's about, well, not all of us are comfortable doing art. So
and so
this is not a fair way to do it. It's just not fair.
Yep.
It's great for their socials because they've got all these cool photos to put up and people post them on Twitter and it builds up all this hype, which rolls into them making money. That's why they do it. This is for them. This entire competition is for CIG. It's not for us.
If part of that selection process in the submissions was how many of that ship were submitted, then you get the really cool ones, but you could have 100 185Xs that are just smiley face, along with a couple of really good ones. And
right, so you can just submit it through this. So this is the way I'd be going. I wouldn't be doing it through Twitter or something like that. I'd just submit it through this. So this is the live event ship showdown. Screenshot wallpaper. That's exactly how, so they're just you don't even need art stuff anymore. You just need a screenshot. Well, that's even better. That's great. That's fantastic.
Take a screen. Get in your 85X, rent an 85X, take a screenshot, submit it. There you go.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not feeling it. I don't see a single 85X there. So
I think I may have to try and get in.
I think a lot of new people, like if you look at the vote year on year, we've seen more and more new people. This is the first year that the message doesn't get out to the newer people.
And
I think that
at
might be the case.
And at the moment, we've also got the free fly.
Yep. Which will also bring a lot of random people. That's true. Shit, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. No, look, it's... You guys know why we're pushing the 85X. It's not like it's our favorite ship. It's just we want every ship in the game to have a skin, and it's the only one that needs it.
As Sandcrapper says, a lot of people don't even know what an 85X is.
Exactly.
And it's probably true.
If you look at this, they had an art piece of image here. I'm trying to find the bloody image, and I can't find it now. But in the actual image, someone is messaging. Crazy, I'm getting them bipping off everywhere. Wherever it was, first image they released of the ship showdown, if you ever find it, it literally has the 85X in the background. It's actually one of the ships flying. You know when they have them flying from either side. You think I can find it now? Nope, can't find shit.
Of course
not. But yeah. Maybe it was in the newsletter or something like that. I can't remember. But if you find the image I'm talking about, in the background, they know that we were going to do that. Yeah. Lung, first time chatter. You also subscribed for someone else. That was interesting. Question: since the Kraken is the next capital ship expected to be released, what role do you think it will realistically fill in the current state of the game? Most gameplay loops still feel a little lackluster, so curious about how people expect the Kraken to fit into the existing gameplay. I think it's two parts there. That's a two-part question.
Yep. I think it's two-part.
The first one is you look at the ships that are already in the game. So right now, when we go out and do TSG as an example, we take an Idris and people cycle, the fighters cycle through the ship to use the Idris. And the Idris also has a really good railgun. But I think that's going to be a lot easier to do on a Kraken. Like way easier to do on a Kraken. And you could realistically just park the Kraken away from everything and leave it there.
The other thing is, you land your ships on the Kraken.
You
know, your medium ships, your light fighters or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's one ship to make the jump, not 7.
Yes.
So it's easier to just get everyone at the same place at the same time.
Agreed.
But as you said, I went to exactly the same place you did.
Yeah. I think the last part would be it's more industrial focused than the Idris. So if you had a bunch of prospectors, a bunch of vultures, moles, moths, you get where I'm going here, right? It's everything Algared said that was focused at combat when we said that. Now roll that over to another mission that's completely different. It allows you to take out more people to do different things. You can only put 3 ships that are basically size 2 or S2 in an Idris. This thing has 5, 6, 7. And all the different facilities, the cargo, all that type of shit in it as well. It is just better built for those smaller ships. But it's not built for combat. It does, but not to the same extent as the Idris. It's a support capital ship where the Idris is a support combat. What it is. So we'll wait and see. I'm really looking forward to the Kraken coming in. But again, if you're going off doing a combat mission like TSG, you would take an Idris, wouldn't you? But if you're going off and doing a mining run, you'd take a Kraken. Hope that answers your question. You got pushed to the front of the line because it's also your first time question.
First time chatter questions, we usually take them straight away.
If YouTube had that feature, we'd be doing it as well, but they don't. Thank you for the subscription.
Sorry.
Crowley88, thank you for the subscription at tier 1. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the cube. Anything else you want to add to that, Algared, before we go on to the next question? Or go back to
like I said, the very thing you said straight off was exactly where my mind went reading that question.
Yeah.
It was page. To me, it was absolutely obvious. That's where it's going, and that's how people will use it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because again, if we roll it back around to just TSG, I would take a Kraken and I would leave it parked a bit out of the way, and then the fighters could just fly back and refuel and resupply and repair whenever they want. You don't really need, maybe one person that's flying it to move it if it's in danger, but you don't, you know what I mean? Because normally everyone wants to be inside TSG. Well, the Kraken doesn't need to be in the fight.
Oh, it sits at the back.
Yeah,
it's the area where your fighters and other ships could recycle.
It'd probably sit back.
An area where you could have.
It'd probably sit back with Idris Ps, but people don't take Idris Ps to do that. They take the rail guns and the lasers, and so the Ks and the Ms and the Ts. So again, but probably take the P out, and pretty much very similar to what you do with the P is what you do with the Kraken, right? I think that's the closest ship. Do you agree?
Yep, no, 100%. And I consider an even bigger advantage because I imagine you could probably land
thank you, Spike.
A Redeemer on other ships. So yeah,
Spike found this for me. Good on him. So you can see just here, that's the 85X. Small but mighty, but it is there.
It's a lovely little ship, originally concepted as the snub ship for the 890 jump.
Yep.
And when they built it, it grew to the point where they gave it a quantum drive and a jump drive.
It does kind of show you though how things can be overhyped though, because the Zeus was really popular when it won that thing, but I never see Zeus's anymore. I just don't see them. It's a ship that's really dropped off.
And you do actually see the 85X occasionally, usually as a taxi. People using it from point A to B type ship. And
I see it as a dogfighter, where I see it the most.
There you go.
Bops takes it out fighting quite frequently because it's funny as hell to kill people in. I think they're gonna wipe the floor with you, and then you kill them in this, and they're like, oh, shit. You that you just bitch slap them around like a knife killing Counter-Strike or something like that. I know. I'm having a brain fart. Moist Noodle used to take the old Aurora out and just trance people in it. And I'll be like, what the hell?
I remember way back in the very early days. When Hornet 1 was the king of Arena Commander, before we had the PU, and the top pilots would take out an Aurora and just absolutely wipe the floor with everybody. It was just. Oh.
Yep.
Anyway, ID's a sideball. What functionality will player-built bases have on procedurally generated planets without pre-existing landing zones?
Well, you can do a mining base. You can do your own personal base, so you can build ships. But I think a lot of bases are going to be functionally placed around resources. Collecting whatever the resource is, and that's why ships like the Odyssey become insanely important very quickly. The more areas so if you find an ore mine and it's a highly valuable ore, and it's next to another ore mine that works with that one really well, then you're probably going to want to put a base there. Are there other resources down the road, like trees, animals? You get where I'm going with this. the
Yep.
more densely packed you have in one area, the more profitable that place is going to become.
And you got the impression from when they were looking at the bases, you know, you start off with a small base, but as time goes on and your ore comes in, it basically becomes a mega city.
Yeah,
And then from that, you build your star base to.
Yeah. So it's going to be multiple factors, right? It's going to be what's in the area. Are you defending the area? How many people are in your org? Because if you build your first base and it turns out the resources aren't very good there, you might go build a second one and that one becomes bigger, or you might build multiple small satellite ones and have a big one in the middle. See what I mean? Like it's supply and demand. But nature, or in this case, the simulation, how it laid out the stuff, is going to be what determines where places are built. Are there a natural defense from the like is it up against a cliff? You know, is it in a valley? Is it in a cave? You know, all these types of things are going to come into play as well. Yeah, we're well, Drazen. How's the flannel? Hope it's treating you well. I never showed that photo. I should get that up. Hang on. That'll be a good laugh while Drazen's here. I don't think you mind if I show it. Where is he, Drazen? I always send him Captain.
Why are you doing that? Shady Phaser 9928 says, wait, the 85X has a jump drive? I thought it only had a quantum drive. I could be wrong. I do believe when you look at it, it does have a slot for the dual port.
Yeah. I sent him this a while back.
For a jump drive.
Captain Flannel. You like that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it even looks like Drazen. That's the funny thing. I said, put this man as a comic book character as Captain Flannel. And this one threw back at me. I think he did well. Anyway.
So we are doing good, Drazen. Thank you.
Yes, we're doing well. Hope you're doing well.
So yeah, I'd have to double check, but I did think the 85X was quantum and jump drive, but bit like and I'd say that mainly because it was very similar to the way in fact identical, if I remember correctly, to the way the Pisces came out. And both of them had the same tree. All right. The Real Drama says it doesn't have a jump drive. Okay.
I'm looking right now. Got a quantum, but I am not seeing a jump. So it does make it like a proper snub. So you can travel back to the 890 jump, but you can't go through the wormholes.
If it has a slot for a jump drive, though, that's the other.
Realistically,
Real Drama says too small to equip a jump drive.
Realistically, it doesn't need it. If you think about it, like it wouldn't even have enough fuel to really go across the
No, that was one of the things I did notice in the 4.10 patch. There's a refactoring of fuel and fuel tanks.
Well, this is what all the fighters were meant to be like, by the way. That was the whole need for jump points, and now that's all just gone out the window.
No, I did always like the idea that fighters and had to be on a mothership to do a jump in system.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. It is. RD Disciple has another question. He's got a string of questions coming through.
Yep.
How do we think the Anvil Liberator will function as a forward operating base compared to the heavy combat dropships like the Ironclad Assault?
Kraken Mini is what it is. Kraken can land on a planet as well. It just doesn't do as many ships, and it won't have the cargo capacity. So anything the Kraken kind of does, just smaller version of that.
It can do.
Yeah.
My thought went straight to the review by the military guys when they talked about the different ships and the drop ships and the assault carriers and I remember they basically changed your thought process and made you see that every ship place and a role that was fairly niche but suitable for purpose, but every ship was
and a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
Again,
I could see that.
I'd also look at things like the Ironclad Assault, where they added the torpedo tubes and stuff like that. Like I would probably expect to see a lot more. But realistically, with the small crew count, I am and it being a military ship, I would not be surprised if that thing didn't work out with like 4 PDCs. But they're all on the top.
Yep.
Kind of similar how the Ironclad's torpedoes are clearly designed for when it's landed. You know, like they can come out of the top and they can hit you, but again, if you can get on the right blind spot on that Ironclad, it's a lot harder for the Ironclad to shoot you if you're underneath. The weaknesses of those ships are going to be when they're actually flying, not when they're landing. But they can do what they want. So again, they've also come out and said that a lot of ships won't have PDCs, but because if you look at what they did with the Perseus, it clearly has a weakness to fighters, and it was originally designed as the ferry between jump points. That's why it's been delayed, because they even said that ship would be coming very quickly. Well, it did not come quickly. I look it up now, almost over 5 years. So you do the math. Forever. Yeah, it's clearly its role's changed. They literally, actually, let me re-clarify. They said it was needed for Pyro. You remember that? We have Pyro, and we now have Nyx. But that's how far behind it is. So yeah, so you add all that in, it clearly has changed its role quite a bit. And they did mention it was getting a reconcepting as it went into pre-production.
Yeah, so. And I think the thing that really changed that was the fact that they changed what ships have jump drive. They put jump drives in pretty much everything just so they could do the jumps. So you don't, if everything's got a jump drive, you don't need a shipping ship. So you don't need a Liberator. Yeah.
Riddick placed us in. Oh, nice to see you, Riddick. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. All right. Next question, if you've got it.
Disciple has another question. What information have we heard on the MESC Starlancer build? I haven't heard anything of late. Scale, onboard fabricators, etc., etc.
They haven't said shit. And I think they kind of want us to forget about ships like that clearly show how over, you know, we were clearly about to just get base building 2024, and we are now, it's going to have taken 3 years. We even got told at CitizenCon it's not very far away. That was from devs, and nope, it's taken really long time. So something
devs didn't, devs, and we're talking, devs here and devs here are all saying the same thing. They were really, at CitizenCon 24, they were really confident. What happened? I don't know. Disciple has a last question, which with the increase in ground vehicles coming soon, do you think CIG moving into do you think CIG is moving into a greater development of ground combat? I think CIG have always wanted that.
Yeah, you can always tell that because Chris Roberts was a big fan of Battlefield. Way back near the beginning, he was talking about Battlefield 2 and stuff like that when I interviewed him. And you can see we have all these ground vehicles that don't really do a lot right now other than attack. But we also have ones that do fabrication, so you can and medical, and you can clearly see they're going to have mining and salvage and all that type of shit eventually, right? We also know buildings have turrets and shields. We theorize shields until they prove that they were an actual thing. And so when you work it all through, it's very clearly they want the full-on warfare experience. You fly in, shooting shit, you get on the ground, you deploy, and you go in. And you have to get rid of the shields, like on the Death Star. You got to bring the shields down, or you can attack it.
Well, it's a bit like the tactical strike groups.
Yeah,
the different levels of tactical strike groups. You've got your ground crew that go in and clear the place. You've got your trench run. You've got your.
You could essentially have that TSG strike group, and when that station is destroyed, it removes the shields around a base on a nearby planet. There's no reason. There's no reason it can't be this multi-part process, and you're all going on this massive mission together. That sounds amazing to me. Let's go out and for the next 4 hours, let's just do this. And again, every time you go out and do it, if you combine all the things from the mission system, that could be a different experience every single time. This time something happened and it goes this way, and something happened and it goes this way.
That's the type of thing I could see being tied into the infamous Operation Pitchfork.
Yep, absolutely.
The idea players had of going and liberating, going into Vandal space and basically taking on the Vandal to free those systems from Vandals and bring them back to the human fold. Was always seen as a thing we'd do before launch. We'd go out and attack the Vandal. We lived in hopium back.
Most definitely.
But I could see that as certainly a mission type you could do that would go the whole band. Zorgul says, will there be super heavy armor for industrial tasks? Imagine an armor with bigger salvage beam or mobile crafting for exploration and survival, basically becoming.
Again, if it is a Titan suit light or whatever, I could totally see it all of it. It's just really at the end of the day what they want to do, and if someone asked me if we had super heavy armor on my bingo card this year, I would have said no. Because you would have thought they would have done Titan suits first, but I don't know. My brain tells me well, I guess we had the Ikti, but you can clearly tell that was just a variant of the other one. But like to make a whole new Titan suit would have been pretty cool, But obviously, something's stopping them from doing that. I don't know what that is, but
Rin Solario says, look, if talking about the Basher, if a crane and similar cosmetics, similar things are more than cosmetics, doesn't that cross the pay to win?
Something about you broke up a little bit there. You said something about pay to win what?
The pay to win boundary. So does it push it into that? It's now pay to win because I can add these things and it gives me all these extra.
Yep, that's all part of my concern. Yep, and it always was going in. I think that's why there was so much blowback to the what were they, the blades, right? Because you were you were modifying gameplay at a cost, and that was again, it's a really slippery slope. And the thing that they were bundled, and when we worked it through and talked through, we did multiple polls. Remember, they weren't buying them for the blades; they were buying them for the skin. So bundling them with the skin, you were forcing people, and it was a really cool skin, right?
Yep.
They bundled it with a really cool skin to just inflate the price, and that's why we're pissed off at bundling. You do shitty practices. Once shitty practices in place, it stays, right? And now we've got these. We've had over a year of this shit. They ain't going away. They're just going to get worse and worse and worse to the point that people say no more. They leave, and we've seen it happen in other games. There was a massive blowback in Warships, or whatever it was called, War Thunder, or whatever the fuck it was called. I can't remember the one, but Galactica worked there, and she now works here. She would have been, I swear, would have been screaming at them, "No, don't do this. This is bad." And they I believe it was a third of their player base left overnight when it actually eventually popped.
World of Warships and World of.
So do you think
that rather than War Thunder?
Do you think CIG could afford to? No, I don't think they could afford to lose a third of us. So it could be dire. So they've got to walk a very careful tightrope. They're going to go down. We'll see.
Right. Next question is from SA5102, which is everything should have hit point. But the question is, can you choose if cosmetics have a function and are optional?
In the case of this, it doesn't really have a function in the Basher when we talked about it, and it seemed to provide more of a negative, and I think that's how it should be.
Yep. Do you want to look cool? Pay the price.
Yep, that's it.
Amabelico says, about the referral rewards, do you get a tier 1 armor set plus a current atlas. I believe that seemed to be the case. Yes.
No. So
I know.
the again, I'll bring the image up. Just give me a moment. If you look at the image, here it is. Everyone's
yep.
come over. New recruit gets the armor. A veteran
Yep.
player gets the atlas.
And I can see where they've done that because you've got the two sets of armor, but it's actually a front view and back view, so you can see what you're getting. So the veteran doesn't get the armor; they get the atlas.
Just to put it in perspective, though, $10, $40. So the veteran player is getting the better, and it's been that way every time they've done these. The better player because you want to encourage the veteran player to actually make it worth them pulling somebody in, because they're counting on that person pulling someone in for future sales. That's
if I put the raptor as a reward, I could see people bending over backwards to find a. Well,
they usually do something small, like they don't do a starter ship. It's usually like a pulse or a dragonfly or something like that. So, you know, atlas is a good reward. I don't think they've ever done the atlas before as a referral. I could be wrong. I don't have one as a referral, but like one. Anyway.
Yeah, I love one too. Oh, sorry. Project Gnome.
Yep.
Project Gnome asks, which patch this year do you think we are getting Starware and Suitlock?
I think they said Starware was 10/11, didn't they say? Or 10/10. It's one of the next couple.
It's certainly not slated for 110.
Yeah, well, if it's not in 110, then it's in 111, and 111's slated for September. So, and some of that stuff I showed off today, that is in Pirate Week, is in September.
Yep.
So it's not too far away. Again, we've just here in Australia. I know you guys living in the past and the up over, but we are in the first day of August. So, regardless, you are less than very much on less than a 2-month timer to seeing Darkloth. Not long to wait.
RB Disciple says, what do you think is the best content in Star Citizen so far?
Oh, that's going to be different for everybody. So that is a personal question. But with the types of games I play, I and what I brought into Star Citizen 4 is the teamwork stuff. So whether it's a bunch of people on one ship or a whole bunch of people doing PSG, I like group gameplay. Anything that's group gameplay, I will try, whether it's mining, salvage, combat, medical, whatever. A lot of the fun for me is playing with other people. So yeah, anything around that is my jam.
I would have thought the strike groups was probably the best because it covers a whole variety of different aspects of gameplay and it requires a whole lot of people. But yeah. Broken II. Broken II asked the question, what do you think of the lack of ISC and Star Citizen Live? Sign something big is coming, or are they just cutting back?
Well, if you've only got one kind of videography team to go around and you've got Squadron coming, you've probably got them working on stuff for, you know, hyping up Squadron and videos and stuff like that. They're going to want that at a really high quality. I think they've just got a lot on their plate right now. All I can really consider. I'm not a big fan of how CIG do their content. It's just me personally. I think a lot of it is fluff. And I mean, and I'll give you a real simple example. You can go watch an ISC and how much information in that hour is there actually? Like when this is not a crack at Noobifier, but when there is an entire channel basically dedicated to summarizing their hour-plus long episodes down to under 3 minutes, that highlights an issue of how little is actually in them, right? There's a reason why our show is not super fancy and all that, and I probably try to make it look nicer than it should be, but it's all data for us. It's giving you guys the information. It's not about blowing smoke up your ass, you know. And I think a lot of their videos are about perception of how things look. They've all got to be done in 4K. They've all, look at how CitizenCon's done, right? Some panels have utterly nothing in them, and then others are utterly chock full, right? Another example is the silhouette video. They didn't see that as important, but look at the difference between when we've had silhouette videos and this year. So it would have given multiple content creators, including Algared and myself, content to talk about in the lull periods. Nothing. Right? We still don't have ships from the previous one. Like, where's the auxiliary? So these little tiny things that they can do, they chop them because they don't see them as important. But they actually are, like, they don't know what's important to the community. And this goes back to what I said before too. Remember earlier, Algared, I was saying talking and listening to the community. Anyway, sorry, go.
No, well, the classic was, as you said, that the gave us and every other person bulk to talk about and dream about and hope about what was coming, what the manufacturer is for a year. Total free content, something we all love, and it was not put in because
wasn't considered high quality or desirable, so it was cut.
Yep.
Right.
And
then again, if they're not doing a CitizenCon this year, all I want is the ship silhouette video. That's all I want. I don't give a shit about anything else. That's what I want.
Oh, and I think the ship silhouette video is even more important because without concepts, that's going to be the only. Without the concept sales, that's going to be really the only way that they get any feedback on where they're thinking. It
goes a little bit further than that. It gives you hope and dreams and things to hold on to when shit is bad. And if when shit is bad, you've got nothing to hold on to. And what's to hold on to this year? The hope that Squadron's going to come out that you haven't talked about at all? You see where I'm going here, right? So if you don't have those things to hold on to in the bad time, there's nothing there, and people, fuck this shit, I'm leaving, right? And they again, see what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm all dramatic and full of bullshit. But why does it feel so bad right now? Why does it feel unlike other years? Saying, DefenseCon didn't feel that interesting to me as a veteran player, and even people we talked to in chat at the time said the same thing. It just didn't land right. The Ironclad didn't land right. It was a buggy mess. But because there's no concepts anymore, that was replacing concepts. That was our dream. We could dream about the stuff that was coming. You remove that dream and you only get to see everything warts and all as soon as it lands. You're like, well, there's no dreaming involved there. It just is what it is. See what I mean? That hope and inspiration element has been lost.
Anyway. First time chatter, Alchemy 690 says, they didn't invite you to the event this year. That's due to other factors. I don't think CIG care if Execute wants.
Yeah. It's as Algared said.
It wants a video.
It's not just me. There was lots of content creators that asked for it. And there was a reason I didn't get invited, and that's because he's not going. And so because he's not going, they assumed I was not going.
Yep. And they know the reason I'm not going, and they said, oh.
So they just naturally assumed I was going where he is going. I'm not, because mostly aren't going where he's going, most likely.
Yeah. Because they see us as a pair.
Yeah. That's it. So, and he's the one that talks to people in the background a lot more than I do. And so it's his fault. So when I see him, he's getting a pillow attack and a tickle. When I see him. And you better hope it's not a tickle like I used to do to my brother. I used to do it until he pissed his pants, so you'll be in trouble.
Better make sure I go to Louisville 4.
Yeah. I'll probably have to bring 2 pillows though, because I'll have two of them against me next time. Yeah. You're ganging up on me.
So Ren Solalia says, did the term, going back to the talk a bit we were doing with Ginger.
Yeah.
Did the term ginger originate from Gilligan's Island?
I have no clue.
I asked because it's a term new to me, but immediately thought that that show came to mind. I don't know. I think Australians always said gingers and blue. If someone's blue, they're, hey, blue, you're a ginger. To me, it's an old term. But then Gilligan's Island is old as well. So what can I say?
I'll ask the AI real quick. See what they say.
Yep.
Because I've got no clue. The main origin of the ginger heckless roosters, 1780s.
No.
The earliest documented linguistic connection between ginger and red hair comes from the British cockpit. The British cockpit. Baked goods and dried spices in the 1820s. The red ginger plant, 1800s. So there's a lot of callbacks to it. But look, it doesn't look there is a nailed down thing. So yeah, good question. But man, yeah. Project Gnome and Dragon Space 80. Thank you for the subscription with the Prime and the Tier 1 sub. Get it.
Enjoy your cube.
The Prime doesn't get a cube, sadly, but the Tier 1 does. Yep.
All right. So Tier 1 sub, enjoy the cube.
Yep.
Sorry for the Prime. RD Disciple says, will future expansion systems feature fully procedurally generated landing zones, or will major hubs remain handcrafted? My impression from CIG, and they could go down that route, but my impression is as they build a planet, they want to go in and do those landings, the actual landing zones themselves, as more handcrafted. Yeah, they'll have that procedural element, but then they want to go in and handcraft them or polish them.
Yeah. And you kind of see that a little bit in the space stations, don't you? You know, they have their own signs and things like that. I do think they are pushing for as much procedural stuff as possible. But if you can get it, well, you know, if you say 60% procedural, and then you go back in and you know, so if you've built the whole location and then someone goes back in and set dresses it, you can make it feel more unique. I think that's their plan.
I think that's always been their plan to go forward. So,
because rather than having an entire team do a landing zone, you could essentially have one person probably smash it out in a month. You know what I mean? And then if you've what was 10 people working on one is 10 people working on 10, you can see how, you know, 10 landing zones for one system. That means you can do that system in a month, this system in a month, and almost every month you're rolling one out. And it only takes you 100 months to do them instead of multiple decades, you know? And again, if you throw more and more people at that, speeds it up. We got a few more subs.
Voidlight Gaming, thank you for that Prime sub. And Project Gnome, thank you for converting from Prime to a Tier 1 sub. Enjoy
your cube.
Right. Shem Pastor. I think he's trying to pick up on that cultural thing at the moment. Now that we've got the 4.10, do you think we'll get patched for 6.7?
No, because it's too many patches away. Better not be that far away.
Yep. But I think that's what he was doing. So yeah, there you go. Got
it. Daft, give that guy a timeout. No more shit like that. Time him out.
Pastor is evil. Yep.
Right.
Mega Tiger Ninja says, should they release a Moab model for the front of the Retaliator? It should fit, considering that the front bay carries 4 size 9 torpedoes. I understand if a rear bay, they don't. I would love to see them do a whole series of bombs for Retaliator.
Yeah, they did. They did. Remember when they released the blades at DefenseCon? They just didn't have the Moab. But why would you give the Moab to a Retaliator? So the answer is no. And it's really obvious why. Because then the A2 is completely useless. It's the only thing it's got going for it.
Well,
that's
the advantage of the A2 is it can take multiple Moabs, whereas the Retaliator would only take one. So I could see it.
I can see the argument going both ways, but let's put the shoe on the other foot. Are they going to take that feature and add it into the Retaliator, or are they going to give a single Moab to another ship and sell that?
I'd go the other new ship and sell that. Yeah.
Money. That's You can see where it's going.
And then the other thing is, because the Eclipse actually has more missiles than a Retaliator. If you can put a Moab in a Retaliator, why can't I put it in the Eclipse fit box? So,
Well, because the Eclipse can't fit because it's too thin. I can see I can see it working in the Retaliator. I honestly can.
yeah.
But it also is pretty big. Again, I'll ask the question, like, can you physically fit it in the Retaliator? I'd assume you can.
That's a question to hassle out Grim with.
Yeah.
Get him to have a gander.
But by the same token, a lot of these decisions don't come down to should or could. It's design and
them deciding they don't want it.
Well, yeah, but it's gameplay too, right? And I hope I hope they're making most of the decisions based around gameplay. That's all I can say. Like I said, they're not doing that. They've really contorted themselves into a shit show. Anyway,
I hope that the decisions are based on gameplay and balance of chips.
Yep.
They're not, as you said, they're in. They're going to be in a world of hurt.
Oh, absolutely, mate.
Want to untangle it.
Absolutely.
So Mega Tiger Ninja came in and said it'd be a module. The A2 carries more, would still carry more.
Yep.
He has both, and the Eclipse carries a Moab now.
What?
The Eclipse carries 3 size 9 torpedoes, and he says the Eclipse carries a Moab now. So yeah.
No, I don't think it's a Moab. I think it carries smaller bombs, but not a Moab-sized bomb. There's no way a Moab fits in the Eclipse. It's too fat.
I would have gone with what you said, but
damn it, now I gotta go look.
Have to go look, but
right,
I thought the Moab was a bigger than size 9, but
I remember reading that Moab was the one, and you make me question my sanity when people do this.
Yep.
What was it?
Eclipse does have one size 10. Several people in chat are saying that, so.
Oh, okay.
It will carry one size, one bomb Moab.
Let's have a look.
And I would say if the Eclipse can do it, then so should the front bay of a Retaliator be able to do it.
And the back, for that matter. What?
Yeah, because the back has 3. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be under extras, add-ons?
Should be. From memory.
I'm in that section, and look, there's nothing here. Just the Shiv stuff and the Aurora modules.
I cannot tell you. Maybe they're not available.
Yeah, I can even buy that
quite a few people in chat are telling us it does.
All right, I believe it. I believe it. It seems broken. You think it would be the other way?
I thought they could take up to size 9, and I knew the Moab was a size 10, but I would have thought it was the other way. Not.
Oh, here we go.
I would have the Retaliator had it, and the Eclipse didn't. But hey, and the back carries 2. So there you go. They're saying
I can't.
Module is sold in back.
And has anyone in chat mentioned where it's sold? Because this is all armor and bullshit.
New Babbage.
No.
New Babbage is what they're saying. But we need to know where it's sold in the webpage.
Yeah, so you're telling me it's not on the webpage anymore. Right, well, I'll have to go look that up after game. I can't find it on the website. It was a sales period. Okay, cool. So it's gone. Right, fair enough.
But they're not for sale right now. The size 3, 5, and Moab bombs can be purchased for the Eclipse.
Yeah, it's a bomb rack and it's in game. Yeah, I know exactly what it is. But when it was on the website, I don't remember seeing a Moab for the Eclipse. I remember seeing this is just my brain. It was like 1s, 2s, and 5s for the Eclipse in bombs, and then it was like basically the same thing but one step higher on the Retaliator, and I don't remember there being any Moab, but I don't even know how you could fit a Moab in an Eclipse like that. The Moab's like a size 9 torpedo is like a log, and it's like a tree trunk for a Moab.
Yep. And someone is saying that in Shady Phaser says Detox in his last vid got killed by an Eclipse using a size 10.
Okay.
Look, I've got no problem really with Eclipse carrying a size 10. But the Reclaimer should also be able to carry size 10 in its missile racks as well. But I'm not sure if I do. I haven't used the missile racks on the Reclaimer. But I did like the idea. I really like the idea because to me, that brought in something.
Holy shit!
That they'd promised.
There's literally a photo. There's literally a photo right there.
Yep, there you go.
How the actual fuck does that work? That doesn't even math to my brain. How does that fit in there? Like, that don't make no sense.
I don't know. They've done some. They've made it fit. Don't ask me how.
And then tell me how it doesn't fit in the Retaliator.
Oh, in the Retaliator, yeah. Like that's the one
that's the one that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, if it can fit in the Eclipse, why in Blazers doesn't it fit in the Reclaimer?
Yeah, that's crazy to me, because I would have never thought that would fit in that. Not in a bajillion years. They've obviously reworked the inside of this a lot, because if they had a similar thing with the torpedo bay, the torpedoes, if you remember them, there were 3 of them that were completely flat. And do you remember the video they showed at that IC, and they had the grey box, and you had the 3 logs sitting up in it like that? So they've actually essentially caved out the entire interior of that thing and made that thing that's behind your head.
Yep.
So they
my memory was also
they've made this modular. Literally. Pull that off.
But they also, from memory, they also wanted the Eclipse to use a rotary missile for the torpedoes, similar to the Reclaimer, from memory.
Don't make me fucking time you out, right? Because I fucking will. Because this is true. Hang on. That's it. Right way. Oh, there we go.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, so Mega Tiger Ninja does say the Eclipse has that rotating launcher, which is why it fits, but it doesn't make sense to me that it fits in that, but not in
Okay, so it's the rotating
I'm with
launcher.
you.
That's right. I'm probably remembering. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Hello? Can you hear me? Algared. I think we lost Algared. Oh, no. Can you hear me, Algared? Nope. Nope. Now I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm muted.
Yeah, you were muted. Not me. Can't hear. They can hear me, but they can't hear you. Anyway, speak, Algared. I don't know what he's. Anyway, he's in his own little world. Anyway, all right, I'll go on to the next question since he is not. Right. So never mind my question about Ginger. No. The 890 Jump, the 600i, the Phoenix all represent different old school luxury gameplay, but I don't see the game actually moving that direction. Will they actually be meaningful ships in game? I've always argued that none of them have been meaningful. They're role-playing ships, what they are. Right? So they are very much you making your own gameplay. Now, people that are into role-play, they would argue that is very much their jam. So, it's up to you guys. You basically got to decide if it's a ship for you. It's just not a ship for me. I didn't buy into this game for role-playing. In a universe that we, at the time when they came out, we did not have enough lore about, and they're clearly not following their own lore. So that just makes those ships become worse and worse in my book. I think Algared has secretly hidden a key and muted himself or something. Look. No, I know what's happened. So this is what's happened, right? This is what's happened. Because right now Algared can hear me. Aren't you, Algared? Yeah, but I can't hear you. So do you want to speak? so we can hear. There's no sound coming from you, Algared. What happened was I hit my F9 key and I mute myself on Discord, but that doesn't mute myself on the stream. So I was muted to you, but not muted to anyone else. And whatever you've changed is now stuff for your sound. So you need to
No,
change
it
it back.
didn't change anything.
Oh, well, you're back. Good. That was my fault. And I was like, yeah, something's going here, so I went and checked it. Yeah, I'd muted myself on Discord by accident. My apologies. Yeah, the question was about...
Sorry, I couldn't hear anything you said.
That's right. The question is the next one, which is the 890 jump 600i the Phoenix represents different old school luxury gameplay, but I don't see them in game actually moving in that direction and they actually being meaningful. And I basically talked about them being role playing ships, and basically role playing has to be important to you, but them not following their own law makes them even less valuable, in my opinion. But your answer?
I saw that earlier and I thought, yeah, they are old school. I think they've fallen behind in terms of where they wanted. The gameplay for them isn't there. It was originally, I think, for the NPC delivery, for RPGs, the role players, you said. The 890, all of them have a function in their luxury aspect of being places where you could serve food and other stuff. They're almost shop ships.
Yep.
Very 890's got the restaurant. The 600i and the Phoenix all have a bar and so they're effectively a shop ship, and we don't have shops, and so that
kind of shows you how that's evolved, isn't it? Because you've got the Banner Merchantman that has 10 shops in it, and the 890 Jump that just has one big shop in it. Because as you said, a restaurant is a shop now. It shows the evolution of their game design. Like they've just kind of made it as they've gone along. And fundamentally, you kind of look at it, that original concept of the 890 Jump that became the Banner Merchantman is a lot closer now than it used to be.
And technically, you could say the 890 Jump has two shops because it's got the bar and the restaurant, whereas the 890 Jump and the 600i just have the bar. So,
well, what I would hope eventually is maybe you get different size shops. So maybe the 890 Jump has two large ones, and the Banu like has 10 small or something like that. So maybe we might even see some changes as we go along, where you can, okay, so 2 smalls is a medium, 2 mediums is a large, or something like that, you know. So
you look at the 890 Jump for its restaurant.
Yep.
It takes up a massive lot of space to run that restaurant.
Well, again,
you've got not only the space for the seats, but you've also got the massive space for the kitchen.
Well, if you think through what I just said, that essentially means that there are 8 shops on the 890 Jump.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't that be a really cool thing for where you come along and go, it's basically a shop ship and it's got 8 shops on it, and you can do this, 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 or this. That sounds way cooler of a ship all of us what we currently have.
Well, if it's modular and you can change them,
What if you could also do the same thing with the 600 and the 400i? See where I'm going here, right? So maybe the 600i has 2 mediums or 4 smalls. All of a sudden, the Origin ships don't seem so shit all of a sudden. They seem actually cool.
And the Phoenix doesn't seem bad either.
Yep.
So,
but the Phoenix is a completely different kettle of fish, in my opinion. That has got a host of other issues. That is, I know I used to call the Legionnaire the Turducken, but that they've tried to stuff so much gameplay into that Phoenix. It's a bursted Turducken. Let's just put it that way.
I actually think they knew they tried to put too much into the Phoenix when they brought out the 600i, because the 600i was Origin's answer to RSI's attempt at luck.
Agreed.
And the 600i dwarfs the Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, next question.
Yeah, go for it.
Is from Amabelico, who says, Redeemer versus Paladin. What happened? I did not see...
Go ahead. Is this you answering?
I did see some videos that talk about the Paladin not being that good. Is the Redeemer better lately?
I think they both have their place, quite honestly. They're actually different sizes, and one of the examples I give is that one from TSG, if you want to talk about that. The one I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, tactical strike groups, you've got the Redeemer is really good for doing the trench run, whereas the Paladin is too big for it. But they both have a place, and I've seen both used in TSGs. Yeah, so it's a tool for purpose. It's very similar to what we were talking about before in terms of what the military guys were saying in terms of those forward operating bases and assault craft.
Yep.
Different role for different thing with crossover.
Yeah, size 5 guns versus size 4 guns is the predominantly main base weapon on both, right? So when you kind of work that all out, the Redeemer is going to be better against fighters, but the Paladin is clearly sluggish but more tanky, right? So they're different fighting styles. They are similar, but yet they're different. You know, never be a perfect situation for either of them, right? In fact, they're very complementary to each other. They'll probably work really well together. One picking up the weaknesses of the other. You know, you're relying on maneuverability and shields on the Redeemer. You're relying on armor and health and strength in the other one, and they are in the Paladin. So they both have their place for different reasons. That's how you really want to design ships, so no ship is perfect.
A bit like the MMO fighter versus Paladin type armor class and what they can do.
Yeah. And again, I think the Redeemer is a lot more like it was originally pitched, and you can clearly see why they made the Paladin, because they wanted the ship, the Redeemer to be like the Paladin. But that's not what the more they did that, the more the Redeemer just didn't work. I am both, so you know, I like them both for different reasons. You know, and I think at the end of the day, the story of a lot of the ships that went into bad places and turned out good, you know, and I'm sure that's going to happen with other things like the Reclaimer, the 600i, blah blah blah. It's all a part of them learning how to do shit, and I got no problem with that.
I think one of the first ships that we really saw that with was the Cutlass.
Yep.
Now, the Cutlass went through a period where it was an absolute dog's breakfast. Hated. And then it became really good. And I think it's still probably the best all-round ship for the next size up from when you're moving from starter ship.
Realistically, it's pretty simple. Like, if there's a problem, the first step is acknowledging that you stuffed up and that there is a problem, and learning from your mistakes. It's just life. It's how humans learn. So as long as they're coming out and they're fixing things and admitting they're wrong, and they've done that, they've owned them. You know, look at what happened with me, Algared, John, and Ben, where we talked about the Galaxy. To his credit, John came out the very next day, and within 24 hours, he'd fixed it. That's a problem solver. The type of man you want working on a ship team, because you're going to get shit fixed and it's going to get done and they're going to work out right. Now, they talk about arrogance and the problems and all that type of stuff, but if you've got someone there that can fix the shit when he knows what the problem is,
that's good.
That's what you
see
want.
that with Ben. You see that with Ben a lot. Oh, not Ben, John a lot, don't you?
They and to their credit, they should be taking those problems head on, because it will make better ships. They should be coming out, and they should want to hear every problem that every ship has, and as they go back through and go past them all, they try to address as many of them as possible. It's how I'd be doing it. I found if I am bad at something, how do I get better? I get advice. I get people to tell me what's wrong with it, especially if I don't know something's wrong, right? That's how I learn, and I know you're no different, Algared. How much better have we become as people? Just people, because of this show.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway. Anyway, Spike goes on. He says, "What ship showdown skin paint color do you want to see this year?" I don't really care because I'm not a skin person, but
I did get Grim to try and speculate at this one with me when I was on his, but with not a lot of success. But I think you can probably narrow it a little bit. I can't really tell you the color, because the color can kind of go anywhere, but I could probably help you work out the manufacturer. And that's to look at the manufacturers they talked about at the end of last year, work out who we do and who we don't have ships for, and then what ships they've kind of promised this year. So we've still got the Stingray to come. If that doesn't come next month, does it slip into? Could Kruger be the manufacturer of the IAE? We've got another alien industrial ship still to come. Now, they said that there was another alien industrial ship coming before the Thule came, but I wouldn't call that industrial. So if they've labeled that as industrial, they've got rocks in the head. But that could also mean we got the Raelian, which we had the Saulian, which is like a starter. Then we had the Raelian. To build up to that, you probably wanted something in the middle. And we usually get a medium ship around CitizenCon IAE, usually. So that could be a Xi'an ship. Now, does that mean the Xi'an did the manufacture a couple of years ago? So I probably start to think it does rule them out. But the potential is always there. They can do whatever they want.
And so you go, so you look for who the possible manufacturer running the show is, and then look at their color code, and that will tend to influence the colors.
It'll become more and more clear as we get closer to it. Absolutely. I'd also start to look at colors they've already done. And I think they're very aware that they've repeated themselves a few times, like blue and purple. They've done the white, gold, and black, stuff like that. Gold last year was really cool, really well done. So I'd start to think to some of the rarer colors that we haven't seen, like we had a black and red one year, but we didn't have just a red, right? So do they do the same thing they did last year and just make it, like my brain goes to, if I was going to do Kruger, would you make it like a chrome skin? That works. You know what I mean? Like a highly, the one that the Meridian set that was on the Eclipse, the MSR. Yeah, you see where I'm going, right? But just full chrome. They had a lot of white panel lines in those skins, but you just have the metallic look, but without, make it more alien. Like it's more smooth, no panel lines. Where were you ringing the bell? Anyway.
Because I bumped the glass.
Yeah.
I know. So moving on, new question.
Yep.
Rin Solaria says, many streamers, especially fighters, complain when players solo an Idris. And I think so they should.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps because of the effort it takes to gank one, off a view of it being a pay to win.
Yep.
I saw one guy rant over an hour because he really was upset he did not have a target to kill easily that was rescuing his previous victim. While I get the play to win idea, I don't think it applies here since the Idris was not trying to shoot anyone, and whether or not you get an Idris in or out of game is relevant.
Again, we're in a holding pattern because of engineering. Engineering was meant to come in at the end of last year. They were scared that it was too complicated for people. You talk to most people like Algared, myself, Grim, and a lot of the others. Now is the time to break the game. Bring in those gameplays, make it complicated, make it awesome. And it was truly awesome. And now they're wanting to simplify it down. Fuck off. Just bring it in as it was. It was really good.
Capital ships to be complex. You want them to be.
Not even that, but even in a C1, it was cool. It was literally, as I said at the time, it was the other side of the coin. It was like this whole time we've been missing half of what ships were. It was that good. And you want to take that, and I would freely admit though, it was a lot. It was complicated more than I thought most people could understand. But you just give them time to learn.
Yeah, like the game. Yes, the game has a very steep learning curve. Absolutely, but you want that stuff there. Like you've got these ships that are beautifully crafted with all their interiors, and you want to have the things that make them feel real, and that repair and engineering is what does it.
If I am completely honest, it felt complicated because they were over-tuned at the time, but they were wanting things to break at the time so they could see what was broken. So rather than being at 100%, they were all at like 1%. So you could just fart in the direction of most ships and they would fall apart. But that's what they wanted because they needed to see them break. How do you get the data if they're not breaking? Right? And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So the feedback was, this is shit. This is shit. This is shit. Again, you and I have gone on and on, as have others, about constructive feedback, right? But it's also the other side from CIG need to say they are tuned up to break, right? Realize they're not going to be this week. We need them to break to get the data. But they never told that to people in Evo. And the same thing is they don't even tell people how to give suggestive feedback. So people just go, this is crap. That is not feedback. That is a complaint. Feedback is saying these things are too weak and they break too quickly. That's what they needed to hear. And then if they'd heard that, they would have gone, oh, by the way, they're all overtuned so we can get the data. You see how this is unfolded the wrong way? And now we've got this feedback that is engineering is shit and it's too complicated. And we've come to the wrong response. We've gone to the wrong area. And so now you're going to put all this effort in. I don't know how long you're going to spend on it to dial it back or to put steps in place so we can dial it up over time. No, you should have just put it in, put it as it was meant to be, and then get feedback from a live environment for the entire community. But they were scared. They were scared that it was going to affect sales or some shit like that. I don't know.
Those points you're making is exactly what Typhon Phoenix says. It was too tedious. You looked at the ship too long and it would catch fire because everything was dialed to break. And so they needed to say, oh, yeah, the ships are here. They are in a broken state because we want to see what happens. Start fixing the parts. But
and some of it was broken because they'd obviously had test ships where it was all built around one ship, and then you move it over to another ship, and that ship would just catch on fire and not turn on. But that's what Evo is. And I think because you also remember they brought in an influx of people around that time. So these people had never been Evo before, and if you've ever been put into Evo, it doesn't come with a set of instructions. It should.
It is broken.
It is so fucking broken, right? Not only is Evo broken, it doesn't tell you how to do Evo. It doesn't handhold you at all, and it needs a manual, and it doesn't come with a manual. Like, where do I go on Spectrum? Where do I like? There's all these things, and I had to reach out because my account just didn't work, and they had to recreate it because my account was fucked, right? But I have that persistence, and I have that. Obviously, not a regular person. So I can't imagine if any regular person got stuck, they'd just be stuck. So the point is, you can see where it's all gone awry, and they should, if they'd had the balls, and this is what they should have done, is they should have just done a public text, the tech preview. They should have just done a public one. Why panic and change when it's not proven? Because they don't want, everyone said it's bad. If we put that out, then we're going to hear bad news in the press. That's what they're afraid of. They don't want more Star Citizens engineering comes and it's a piling rack of mess. Well, that's actually what you got. Congrats. Because that's where you left it.
Oscar changes pace, says, do you see a gold standard on the Constellation to come? Or will they end up like the Aurora, a new as a Mark II? I think
Mark II.
They're probably heading down that Mark 6 or 7 or whatever it is there.
And quite honestly, as me and Algared have said before, there is so much shit stuffed into that ship. It needs its own variant, rework, whatever. It needs to be spun off into its own ship.
I could see that for a Phoenix. I don't like it, but I could see it. It just means they can solve half a problem.
If you think about all the problems that ships have had, right? Like we talked about the banner mesh man, it got bigger and better. Well, then just make the Phoenix bigger and better, and it fixes all the problems, does it not?
Yep. If you in general, if I fix a ship, as long as I don't mark to it or do the Aurora system, just literally rework it.
No, just literally make it a new ship, and call it the RSI Phoenix. Problem solved.
Yes, and what do you do with people?
The name works twice if you think about it. It was the old Phoenix, and it rose from the ashes. Ching! I'm here all week, don't worry. I need a spoon and an empty thing so I can ding it like you do. Yeah, that's about as dull as my joke landed. So yeah, that was spot on.
That's why it was a dull one.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Sticky Dirty Fingers says, if they push in carrier ships,
Mm,
do see them significantly cutting jump distances of lights to heavy fighters,
eventually.
with light getting a jump, but takes them. Look, I hope
We
any carrier-borne ship loses jump drive, but
Yeah, we already have some fighters that can't jump across Stanton, right? When you put a particular, if you put
and
a A1 military drive on them, they can't make the jump.
yep, and that's often some of the choices you make. You put
Mm,
a top tier drive on it, for quantum, and it might give you
yep,
super speed will be really fast,
yep.
but very short distance, and for those cases, maybe you do need a carrier. But yeah, I hope they do fix it. I hope they do make it that fighters do need carriers to get to places.
Whoa,
I've argued that for years, but
what
yeah.
happened there? Your volume just went to nothing and then came back. That was weird. Anyway, yeah, you just went.
RD Disciple. RD Disciple says, can you confirm the rumor that CIG is considering to remake the Anvil Crucible or make the Anvil Crucible for 2027?
The last time we talked to Ben and John when we did sit down, they said that if you guys remember, it had actually been put on the schedule. They said that was a mistake. Whoever put it on the schedule did it by mistake.
So,
I would have to imagine there are only rumors right now about the Crucible, but that said, you can see how base building works, that repairing is not that far behind the Pioneer in my book. So once the Pioneer is out, I would then say the Crucible is a very high contender for working after that. And I know you agree with me, Algared.
yep. But if it's not, as long as it's
Yeah.
developing, I'm happy for it to wait.
It's probably
Because
in
it'll
a
be awesome.
Would you agree it's probably in reconcept area
I think
now?
it probably does need reconcept
Yeah,
because it's so
me
old.
too. So old, it's clearly grown. It doesn't rotate anymore. Do you need 4 sets of arms when you could probably get away with 2 in a different configuration? There's so many things there that I think they could do better that they've learned.
Yep.
Could you, for
And I think that,
example, remove the arms completely and just use drones?
and I think part of it is like part of that reconcept idea is bringing it up to it's an very old design. It looks cool, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really fit. So you bring it up to the current. The
And
beauty of the Crucible
mm,
is the fact that you don't have to mark to it. It's not been built, so you just
exactly.
build it brand new.
And look at the other benefits they're doing right now. They're varianting the shit out of ships. If you were to say, and I'm not saying they will do this, but just say as an example, say they did make it functionally a drone repair ship, right? You could also do a variant because Anvil are a military manufacturer, and you could also do a military drone ship in the same ship. You know, and all of a sudden you take the Scarab, and the Scarab is like a little drop-off bunker. You see where I'm going here, right? Like you could clearly very quickly like make a variant for that thing, and it would sell. A drone ship that dropped off a bunker. You trying to tell me that would sell?
Oh, it would.
Sell like
Because people
hotcakes.
like the idea of forward
Yep.
bases and
Yep. So again,
yeah.
knowing they're moving into variants like that, an opportunity to rework and simplify that ship, that's sadly where I see it going. I don't see it with arms anymore. I don't see it with the it just doesn't need it. Like it's just so much easier if they do things with drones.
And if they do it with drones, it has to have more drones than if it's just all drones. The base Crystal has to have more base drones than the Vulcan, because the Vulcan is a smaller ship.
Oh yeah, you'll probably have easily
really
double or triple. Yeah.
So you go,
But again, look how it works from the Scarab perspective as well. You could just send the drones out, and you could technically be, if you had 9 drones, you could be doing 9 individual fighters that are just hovering there in space. And it already kind of lines up with the same tech you need for base building. So, yeah, I could see the simplification. It makes a lot of sense work smarter,
Yep.
not harder type of thing. Yeah.
Yep. Just right. I do look. Just right says in Twitch. I think it's wrong to make a Mark X of a ship that is already sold but hasn't had its gameplay implemented yet.
I agree.
As the Mark 1 Hornet. 100% agree.
The people that
100%
own that
agree.
ship should get that Mark II upgrade for free, in my book.
Yep. Yep.
Because it is just
Give them a CCU.
Yeah.
I liked what they did when they brought out the Buccaneer to replace the Cutlass.
Yep.
They gave everyone who owned a Cutlass a free upgrade to the Buccaneer to apply if they wanted. If you want the more fighter, go for it. If you don't, I feel sorry. I actually feel sorry for the people who had a Cutlass who applied the Buccaneer upgrade, because when they reworked the Cutlass, it became
at the very least, I think they deserve a discount. I don't know what that percentage is, but like, it was pretty disgusting to ask $50 of people that had already brought a fighter. That's pretty egregious in my book. $50 was too much. Again, going on your own thing where it's 10 to 20%, it should have only been 10 to 20% more. That would have made it like $20 at most, right? It should never have been 50. And I can only imagine. Can you imagine how much a Mark II or Andromeda is going to cost? And you know that the Phoenix upgrade's $135. That's what we're talking about. It's in that ballpark.
And
right?
it becomes a worry.
That's a prospect, though, almost.
If they do that,
Yeah.
if they do that to those ships, it really just is a price grab.
It's a Freelancer Freelancer Max. What we're talking in an extra cost. That is insane. And I have no doubt that it'll be a really great ship. But I guarantee you, because of money, it'll be egregiously too expensive for what it is. Which is a real shame. Because there's no way I can look at an Andromeda. What's the Andromeda currently? 275 off the top of my head.
That I think. I always remember them wrong, because I always get them. I always think of them in the
again.
Let's
add $100. Now we're in Asgard territory.
Yep.
See where we're at? Like that's it's not unreasonable. That's what I'm saying.
Nope.
So like, I can totally see that thing going to up towards that area. I'm not gonna lie. That's 383, which is the Galaxy. Like again, there's a reason why it's not that high, because people go, the Galaxy is way bigger, right? So, but I can realistically tell you, if they made the Mark IIs for the Hornets $50, there's your minimum starting point. Minimum.
I hope they don't. Yeah.
But
Patch 44. I'll go to his question because it is related to literally what we're doing. He asks. They ask, what does the Vulcan actually do? The Vulcan is basically a roadside assist. It's got limited cargo, and it's got 4 drones.
It's basically a Crucible Mini with 4 drones.
Yep.
And basically the level of repairs on it are hand tool based. So again, if you rolled that back to the Crucible, you'd have to have different levels of drones or something, or bigger drones or something like that to make it so it can repair better. But nothing that can't be fixed. It's not a technical limitation, it's a coding limitation.
The Vulcan was just 4 drones. I don't think the repair was limited to hand repair. But you're thinking the Liberator's hangar hand repair.
No.
I think.
No. The Vulcan is basically equivalent to hand repair and hand refueling, but because they're drones, you can start to do something and leave it, and the drone will finish it. So it's like doing multiple hand repairs at the same time. How they work. We'll go back and I'll do a refresh on. I'll go back and do a refresh on drones with you, but that's how I remember it.
I'll have to. I certainly will have to go back and have a look at that. But my memories are just 4 drones.
Yeah.
But
So if you think about it, you can see the advantage of it. You can do 4 hand level tasks at once rather than 1. That sounds like a starter profession to me. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I know we always viewed it as the starter profession for repair.
Yep.
And I know Paul always said, no, the medium ship can't be. But
well, and the difference was meant to be on the Crucible with the arms. They printed whole new parts. So where you know how you had to kind of like strip back the paint and then essentially putty in the paint, but you couldn't put the paint job on. The Crucible can do all that. So it can do the hand repair and then it can paint, or it can take it right. So say the wing was damaged, you could take the wing right back to where the joint is, essentially delete the wing,
So,
and then print the whole new wing back on.
so clearly what we learn is that Gray's Market don't even have a Crucible to work for them to
Yep.
actually help them build their ships,
That's it.
because they just bash things out with a hammer to give you steps.
Super glue and duct tape and chains. That's it.
Yep. Anyway, that was a dig if people didn't pick.
Yeah.
ID Disciple will player outposts require ongoing power generation, structural maintenance, and resource feeding to remain fully functional. Absolutely. 100%.
Mm.
They will wear out over time. I used to play one of the medieval world games.
Mm.
And if you didn't you could build a mine, but if you didn't maintain your mine, it collapsed. And then you had to rebuild.
I've heard this story so many times that it was Life is Frugal.
That's the one.
That's how many times I've heard this story. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this story, but it would have to be in the 20s at this point.
That probably would be. Let's say we're at what, episode 1002. We're probably here for 890. That's probably, 10%, 89 times. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, easily.
But yeah.
But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like it proves the point.
It really is just those types of things are time sinks and cost sinks, and they're the types of things they'll be in. You can have as big a base as you want, but how much can you support as a single person? So you bring your friends in. So yeah, Project Gnome.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we will ever have more customization with gear slots on our armor? As a sniper, I'd love to have a range filter, a rangefinder in the grenade slot. Those slots are useless for me.
I think you're going to see a lot of that stuff come in with Starcloth. If you've ever seen some of the really old videos of Starcloth, you could literally, just as an example, you know how when you take all your armor off and you've essentially got no backpack or anything like that, they showed ones where you just walking around a hoodie like I am, and you'd have attachment points where you could put a pocket on or like a small bag, right? So once Starcloth comes in, it's going to show that there's a whole another set of clothing when armor's not even on. I can only imagine the customability of armor. Can I put even more carry options on? Can I put more utility slots on, like my rangefinder?
And I think that also ties in with that layered stuff as well. So what's hidden, what's there. So whole pile of stuff coming with that.
Not to mention all the stats that they showed off on armor. Like that's all going to start to become a thing too. It also we got a similar question to this on Grim Stranger in the week. Suit lockers. 100% need suit lockers to come along with cloth. We call it Starcloth.
Especially once we get to the point where you can't wear your armor in your.
Yeah. But I think that'll be sooner.
When we get suit lockers, you can guarantee that'll be the case.
Well, with the super heavy stuff coming, I think that's also sooner rather than later. So,
yeah.
All right.
RB Disciple has a question. This is our second last question.
Mm-hmm.
With the idea of swappable modules, would CIG consider that approach for the Anvil Liberator, swapping external small landing pads for a medium? I'm going to say they could, but I don't think they would.
Yeah, I tend to agree on that one.
So they could do that, but I think that they wouldn't, and I think they wouldn't because then they can bring out another ship that actually has a medium. To do a variant would do that. But then the question, if you do it to that, then the question is, why can't I do it on my Kraken? Why can't I do it in my Idris? Why can't I do it on...
Seeing how CIG are doing a lot more work smarter, not harder type of approach, the minimum viable product for that Liberator is allowing the pilots and the ground crew somewhere to stay and live. That's where I think a lot of the rework will be, and there's room on that side of the ship to do that, and then maybe some PDCs for defense. That is the shortest, right? But yes, you can go further. You know, do you change the function of how the pads work, and does it land and they fold out or something like that? These are all possibilities, right? But I'm not seeing that from them anymore. I'm seeing that what is the quickest way to get this shit out the door? More and more and more.
Unfortunately, I see that as well. What is the
Oh.
quickest way to give a variant of a ship? What is the quickest way to do?
I think we just got raided by Space Tomato. I could be wrong, but that's what it felt like. Unless I'm reading this. How long ago was this? Did we just miss a raid by Space Tomato?
Raid?
Sorry, Space, if we did. My bad.
I know, he's just coming in.
Oh,
Space Trader is raiding.
Space Tomato, there he is. Good to see you, buddy.
Lovely to see you.
Yeah. Not into that
I
kicky
could
stuff
say the
here.
usual, come in and join us for 5 seconds and say
I
hi.
don't think Space has ever taken us up on that offer. Maybe
No, he never has.
Yeah.
Even Pete's beaten him now.
Yeah.
Pete's come in when we've
Pete's come in,
enough.
Paul's come in, expats come in. Come and say hello. Don't be a stranger, bro. Hope you're doing well, Keenan. Anyway.
We'd love to see you. You know that. But we never do.
Man, too many people. Hey, enjoy the stream. Yeah. You too, mate. Good to see you, mate. Stay out of trouble. And say hello to the fam for me. Right. Next one, Algared.
Last question is from Joan. Joan says, is there any realistic chance that the Liberator releases this year?
I'll let you take that one. I think that's pretty obvious.
I think no.
Why do you think no, though?
Just based on the things that we know are coming. We know that the slots that are available for ships, we know the Stinger's coming, we know the an alien ship's coming.
Yeah.
There's also just so much that needs to come. It was a shipping ship. I think it's being reworked. All of the above. All the things we've been talking about throughout the show.
Yep. And everything Algared just said, I 100% agree with. But it's just not on the cards. It's just not a requirement anymore. We would have had it already if it met its own requirements. It was needed for Pyro. But that said, I know Grim reckons it could come next year around Invictus. I do think that is actually quite possible. My brain though says IAE next year. That's where I'm at.
Everyone makes sense. They usually get a bigger ship at IAE and
well, let me put it this way, Algared. Knowing the Kraken's coming next year at DefenseCon, would you release the Liberator, which is essentially a smaller version of that ship at the same place? Possible.
No.
Or would you give it 6 months?
But
or would you give it 6 months? And it's
give it 6 months of gestation.
We've seen them do it before when they released the Stinger, the Paladin, and the Shiv all at the same day. So there's a precedence now. So never say never, but I think your safe bet is Invictus or AA next year.
I think it depends on how many ships they've got as well. Like if they've got 15 ships that they know they're coming out in that year, then there's more. Oh yeah, we can put both in there. But if they know that's a lean year for new ships, then they spread them out. So
it'd be really awesome to actually get it this year, though. To get it out before the Kraken, that kind of does make a lot of sense too. But just on the unlikely tag, considering it only went into pre-production at the AIE last year. You know, ships take 18 months to go through the pipeline unless you can speed it up. Yes, they have talked about speeding up with parts from the Valkyrie, the Asgard, and stuff like that. But can you get that down to under 12 months?
That's a hard thing, isn't
it? You know, we're gone from 18, and 18 would put you at AIE. So if you speed it up, that is Invictus, which is why Grim's done that, right? He's dropped back to Invictus. But can you make it so fast that it goes almost another 6 again? All I would be worried about then is the quality of the ship. Yep. And knowing that they've got a lot of people working in the Galaxy, do you have enough people to work on the same size? Oh, it's big. It's bigger than the Galaxy. We're roughly the same size.
Yep. And then you end up with if you rush it, you could end up with a problem like we had with the launch.
I was half expecting you to say a problem like Maria then, but you didn't.
No, well,
Well, there's a reference for you. Back when you were a young whippersnapper. But I do know
Oh,
my
mate, that
musicals.
was a rerun when I was a whippersnapper. Faces alive with the sound of shooting. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so that was the last question, yeah? So we're going to raid into Grim, because we don't get a chance to often do so. I know we only did so...
Last week.
Oh, we did it last week, did it? Well, we're going to do it again then.
Hey, it doesn't matter.
What's the question for this week, Algared? He didn't answer the head. He doesn't have a cap on today, Art. Hitting that...
He's clearly trying to make Grim jealous.
Starting to look like I am. He's got that reclining yellow one. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Anyway. All right. Yeah, you guys go say hi to them. Make sure they have a good time. All right. We'll
trying to read chat. That's what he's doing.
Probably. All right. So the raid's going up there. About 100 or so. Oh no, we had heaps of people come from space, so they're all going to get chucked over there as well. All right, you guys have a great week. Thanks for joining us. Been a pleasure having you. Thanks for all the subs and subscriptions, the follows, all that type of stuff. Make sure you watch for at least 4 hours on someone and get your Icty skin. Not Icty, sorry, Atlas skin. Yeah. All right, Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say goodbye to Twitch. We'll be listening. Bye-bye. All right, let's have a listen in.
Tonight we are giving away
No, you're not. It's about to be raided
with LTI and a Star Citizen game package, courtesy of Cloud Imperium Games and Inforunners, just raided with a party of 392 viewers. My goodness. You came in.
Time to raid.
Yeah, you came in just as I was getting ready to raid. And the funny thing is I was going to raid you.
You could raid him.
Right.
Damn it. Execute. And
Anybody that much,
messing
would you
up
believe
my
it?
plans. I hope you guys had a
I'd be a
great
victim.
stream. I hope you guys had a great stream. Oh, you just got, oh man, Execute just insulted. That was hard. That was hard.
Wow.
He always insults me.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'll raid Paul. Execute, Algared. I hope you guys had a great stream. Two awesome dudes. Those of you who don't watch Inforunners, what are you doing? Go watch them. They do awesome content. And again, one of the few groups out there like Soul.
I can't listen to him blow smoke up my butt anymore. I'm not. I don't like it. I don't like it. You guys enjoy stream over there. Have no clue what we're gonna do for content this week. We'll make it up as we go along, as usual. So yeah.
Yep.
Right. With that, then don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to everyone in the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video. Peace, been Algared.
Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens. I'm wrapping up really quickly so I can redirect to him so I don't have to redirect to someone else, if you're wondering. That's why we're ending so quick.